I mean, it's my bad. My phone died.
The stirs make you glance. Grab your hats, y'all. HI's going live on YouTube. Where the truth fly. With the boots on the ground, a cam in her hand. HI's patrolling this great land. Through city streets and back road dust. She's watching the watchers in her we trust. Streaming live from dawn to night. She's the voice of justice, the beacon of light. HI standing tall and proud. Country heart, her voice ain't loud. Tune in on YouTube, see her stance. She's telling the stories that make you glance. Under the neon lights or the setting sun, HI's work is never done. From the sheriff's misdeeds to the city patrol, her lens is sharp, she's on a roll. Investigating truths with a country flair. On YouTube, you'll find it there. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell for more. HI's got stories galore. On YouTube's trail, she rides ahead. Champion of the free, just like she said.
Windows are busted out.
Welcome in, everybody. It is that time of the week. It's Naughty Corner Tuesdays. Yeah. What's up, everybody?
Nice. You did well. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
All right, did you check out the list that we got?
I did. I glanced at it a little bit. Yeah. Interesting.
You go watch any of that trash?
No, because then it wouldn't be a full reaction from
Yeah. I got you. We actually got distracted backstage watching some dude build a raft house. So we have no preparation. We just sat there and stared at it. It was like,
yeah.
Pretty much. All right, so we're starting with 10 weird, hilarious, and embarrassing police standoffs. But that'll be after we finish with chat.
I'm on the big TV this time. Yeah.
Go, girl. That's the way we do it around here. We give them the big TV.
Right. So you can say that first one because I'll chop it up.
What's the first one? Zephyr Lavoxel? Yeah.
There you go. You get the gold. We got
girl.
Scotty Waddles with the silver.
Damn right.
And then Dennis Bigfoot with the bronze.
Yeah, he pulled in just now. He popped in just now to pick up the bronze, like in the last second before we went live. So we got Carpenter's Journey over here. Good to see you, bud.
Brooke, welcome in. Runsky, much love, girl.
Absolutely. See, that's where it ends. So at this point,
that's so pathetic, right? No, it's just funny.
You sure?
Yes.
You need a second with yourself? You want me to?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
Whether I have 3 people or 100 people or no people, I'm still going to do it.
Just with you. Like me and you could sit backstage and do exactly the same shit we're doing right here. And it's not that far off the mark. What's up, Crazy Dingo?
Right. Crazy Dingo. Dango. I don't know.
Welcome back to.
All right, did you hear that? Did that make noises?
It did.
Oh, cool.
I heard it.
These things are actually functional. That's pretty cool. That doesn't usually happen quite so much like that. So what we're doing tonight is I've got a handful of videos over here. Some of them are like AI assembled.
Hold on. We have a interruption. We're gonna have somebody say goodnight real quick. Hold on. Come here. Oh. Look. Say hi. Say goodnight. Yay. with her messy hair. Alrighty. Night night. Okay.
I think we should just do it this way through the rest of the show.
No, like
Just
that's
fine.
too big.
You're literally the face of the channel.
No, that's too
Never
much.
too big. She's never said that before. Things women never said. I think it says more about me than it does about anyone else.
Odd occasions, the channel where we explore the weird, the wild, and the downright bizarre. Today, we're diving into some of the most hilariously embarrassing police standoffs ever recorded, from cardboard
Welcome in,
cutouts
Eggsy,
to sleepy suspects.
Queen
These moments
Kaylin.
prove that even in tense situations, things don't always go according to plan. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into the top 10 strangest police standoffs that will leave you scratching your head and laughing out loud. Number 10, SWAT engages empty apartment in a 6-hour standoff.
Dear God, I hope this happened in Florida.
Why?
Come on, if it happens anywhere else, you're just going to laugh harder.
Oh man, I don't know.
I mean, it's a hilarious waste of public funds. This is
What,
your
SWAT?
literal, yeah.
Oh, for
Just
sure.
when they do a standoff for 6 hours on an apartment that's empty, it's not even a good training op.
Oh, okay. So I was like, what? All right. I got it now. A little slow.
I have no issue. Look, I understand the way you make your training where you
So they
can.
did a 6-hour op and found out it was empty. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
there's
saying?
nobody there. They've been on a standoff with literally
Nobody.
the Christmas past. Like fucking Tim Little
In
over here.
2014, Dallas police
Oh,
officers
Dallas, that makes so
after a
much
woman
sense.
reported that several armed men had
Dallas.
beaten and sexually assaulted her inside an apartment. This marked the beginning of a standoff that would last for 6 hours. SWAT officers arrived at the scene, fully geared up. They approached the suspects, requesting they surrender. One officer even yelled out, "Do what is right. We are not going to disappear." Tensions were rising. A police department spokesperson assured the media they were making every effort to work towards a peaceful resolution.
What?
How?
Make that make sense.
How? You're going to have to explain this to me, sir. How did you make effort towards an empty location where there was no response? That after not getting responses, after about 20 minutes, I'm going to go knock on the door. I'm a little ballsy like that.
Right.
If this guy
Well,
knows he's in a standoff, he's probably going to respond.
welcome in, Ben T, Oklahoma, Friends in Code.
It's going so fast.
But the suspects showed no signs of surrender. No movement, no response, nothing. For 6 hours, officers stood their ground, waiting. But finally, after hours of
I got to think about it. Hold on. So no sight of anything whatsoever. There must have been a fan on in that place that had the blinds riffling or some shit. There has to be an explanation.
silence and growing frustration, SWAT officers made the decision. It was time to move in. They broke down the door, ready for action, only to find that the apartment was completely empty. Yup, they had spent 6 hours pleading with an unoccupied apartment. It seems the apartment itself didn't have much to say. And there you have it.
That is exactly
Oh my
point.
God.
is-
Are you serious?
That is exactly my point, sir. Knock on the door at least once, damn it. Like, and if you don't get a response, maybe knock again.
Right.
Get in touch
Catlin,
with the
welcome
police
in.
owner.
Right.
Was there not a landlord or something you could talk to? Was there no way of determining whether or not an individual existed in this space?
Right. I mean, movement, something that would make them stay there, right? Was there any sign of life in there? I mean,
That's not the impression I get. It was an unleashed space, but we shall see.
that is crazy.
The standoff with a very innocent, quiet suspect. We reached out to the apartment for comment, but unfortunately, we're still waiting for a response. Number 9. Cops brawl during drug raid. Now, this
All right, if I remember right, this is, if you remember the FBI, ATF, Homeland Security Spider-Man meme, where they were all pointing at each
Oh,
other. You know?
yeah.
So a while back, there was this sting that was run on a group of people who were dealing drugs, which turned out to be a Homeland Security op that was looking for people who were buying drugs. That happened to be a group of ATF that were trying to use drugs as an entry to finding guns. And they all ended up trying to arrest each other and literally ended up in a fist fight over who had jurisdiction.
Right.
This one is straight out of a comedy of errors. On November 9th, 2017, a narcotics raid in Detroit turned into an all-out brawl, but not with the suspects. No, this fight between two different groups of police officers from the same department. Here's what happened. Two
This is a
undercover
totally different
teams
one.
from the Detroit Police Department, one from the 12th Precinct and the other from the 11th,
Welcome in,
both
L.
conducted
Kennedy.
raids at the exact
Firm,
same
what's up?
location, but neither team knew the other was there. Officers from the 12th Precinct were the first to arrive, taking positions outside the house. A little later, officers from the 11th Precinct rolled up, spotting two undercover officers from the 12th standing on the doorstep. But here's the twist. They mistook them for drug dealers. Immediately, the 11th Precinct officers ordered the 12th Precinct officers to the ground. One officer even pulled his gun, thinking he was about to make a big bust. What followed was nothing short of chaos. The officers from the 12th Precinct weren't going to just surrender to who they thought were civilians with guns. No, sir. They
Oh,
resisted
my Lord.
hard, and then the punches started flying. Both sides began freely exchanging blows, fully
Ohio Steve, welcome in.
What's up, brother?
That's crazy.
it
It reminds me of that movie. Dang.
You're gonna have
What
to
it's
get a little
called.
bit more specific about
Where the whole family is on the NYPD, you know, and then like a couple of the brothers go the high, you know what I mean, like the good way, and then a couple of them are corrupted, but they have that bot trade, you know, where two. Anyway, okay,
the big
what's
bus.
that? Yeah,
Good too.
Ozzy Nathan.
Is that L. Kennedy Eskimo?
Satachi, right? I don't know. I call him Zat, but dang it,
Are you
I always
speaking English, madam?
butcher it. How do you say it?
Oh, Zatuichi. Yeah, Zatuichi.
Zatuichi.
Yeah.
Did I say it right or
Austin
no?
Nathan,
I
did you
said
see
Zatuichi.
Zatuichi?
I don't know what it said.
It is a sword, madam.
I know, but I know that. I just don't know how to pronounce
It's hidden inside a walking stick.
it.
And if you're
Like,
really
four. What's that for? Four.
Yep.
believing they were fighting dangerous criminals. It wasn't until mid-brawl that someone finally realized they were all on the same side. Thankfully, nobody discharged their weapons.
All right, here's what happened. So one of the guys managed to get one of the other guys on the ground and in some cuffs and pulled his wallet out and found the ID, right?
Right.
He found that badge sitting there on that wallet, and he turns, looks at the guy next to him and says, "Stop." Shows him his badge and his own badge, and then suddenly everybody's like, all right, now it's a fight over jurisdiction. Somebody's going to jail today, damn it.
But think about it. All that chaos happens as they're going in or as they're about to raid. Like, I wonder what happened on the other side of the door, right? Why they were all brawling. You know what I mean? Like, what did the real drug dealers do?
Just watch it through the peephole.
I mean, were they able to dispose of evidence?
Listen, talking to your dealer, going, "Sir, I think they're going to goddamn get me. They're about to fucking bust in my door." But now they're fighting each other. But yeah, no, the big guy just threw the little guy on the ground, screaming for them to put their hands up.
I mean,
we'll shoot. But they're both saying the same thing. There's one kicking somebody saying, "Stop resisting."
Toe for life, my love.
But fists? Oh, those definitely flew. In the end, this accidental battle royale led to some disciplinary actions.
I
Since
sure
the
would
raid
hope
took
so.
place in the 11th Precinct's jurisdiction, a supervisor from the 20th Precinct was reprimanded for failing to notify the other team. Detroit Police Chief James Craig
I'm not sure how
called
much
it,
longer I'm going to be able to deal
one of
with
the
this
most
AI.
disappointing things he'd ever
It's not that
experienced
bad.
in his 40
We've
years.
had worse.
Yes,
Got
ma'am.
a rough
All right.
day.
You
Number
got me
8.
there.
SWAT engages cardboard cutout in a 3-hour standoff. This-
What? Shut the.
All right. All right.
What?
No, I can see this happening. Officer safety being tantamount. The gentleman standing in the window. We've asked him to come out. We've knocked on the door. We've done everything we can do. The man just
It's
won't
a
move.
cardboard cutout.
It's a cardboard.
Shut up. Shut up.
Next one is something straight out of a sitcom. It was a
Oh
quiet
my
evening in
God.
Somerset County, New Jersey, November 2008.
I wonder if it's actually got a gun like on the cord cutout. I
Oh
wonder if it's
my Lord. Yeah, that would definitely cause
marquee or
a
something,
scene.
right? You can just barely see it through the window.
All
Somebody
I can think of is Home Alone. Like.
High Plains Drifter had an excellent marquee. It was not John Wayne, Dirty Harry. What was his name?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
My dad is going to beat me if he sees this. I'm drawing a blank on one of the greatest Western actors the top world has ever seen. He played Dirty Harry. Go ahead, Buck. Make my day.
8. Around 8:40 p.m., an alarm goes off at
Clint
a
Eastwood?
Eastwood, yes.
no one saw coming.
I think I'm going to have to retire. Obviously, I've got some kind of mental deterioration going on. I may have to just start drinking every day. Jesus, that was painful. I could see him. I saw every fucking movie that man's ever been in. I've heard every line of dialogue he's ever written or said.
Was
I've
that
read
the tip of your
2 of
tongue?
his unpublished freaking plays or screenings or whatever you call it when they fucking have a movie, but the movie wasn't made. Scripts. That's the ticket.
30 police officers were dispatched, all responding to what they believed to be a bank robbery in progress. When they arrived, there was still a suspect inside the bank. From outside, the officers could see through the windows. There was a silhouette. It looked about 5 feet tall, around 152 centimeters.
So not
Okay,
just
so wait. How did they get the call, or how were they involved? How did they get a call? Yeah, back it up a little bit. Sorry.
Saw coming. 30 police officers were dispatched, all responding to what they believed to be a bank robbery in progress. When they arrived, there was still a suspect inside the bank. From outside, the officers could see through the windows. There was a silhouette. It looked about 5 feet tall, around 152 centimeters. The blinds were drawn, and it seemed like the perfect setup for a classic standoff. The officers sprang into action. Using loudspeakers and telephones, they tried to engage the suspect, pleading for a response, but their adversary completely silent. This back and forth.
all right. So yeah, and I want to be clear about this.
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wait.
this is one flaw in the right to remain silent.
That one was pretty cool.
Well, we
That was
yelled at
pretty
him.
good.
Now what? What's he doing? Nothing.
But like, where did
That's a
the
shit show.
what's up, AC?
Right?
How did the call? I mean, how?
They used a megaphone and yelled at him, and maybe they knocked on a door, and maybe they yelled at him some more, but he didn't do anything, and so they continued to see
But I'm saying where? I don't know.
things like
I
this
need
are
more
what cause shit like Ruby Ridge and fucking Waco.
context.
Same thing.
Forth, or rather this one-sided
Welcome in,
conversation
Chili Dog.
dragged on for 3 hours.
Chili
After
dog
an
all
hour
night.
of waiting and getting nowhere, the SWAT team finally made their move. They broke into the bank, weapons drawn, prepared for anything, and then they found the culprit. It wasn't a hard-end criminal. It wasn't even a person. No, their suspect was just a cardboard cutout. That's right. 3 hours of tense negotiation with a piece.
For the
Yeah.
AI loan officer that they stood up there the day before, right? They just went to the stock footage department.
I don't
of
get it.
PR
I don't
people.
get it.
I'm telling you, that right to remain silent's got to go, dude.
No,
It's
3
totally against
hours,
your
no
safety,
movement. Come on. First of
right?
all, 3 hours, no movement. Second of
Yeah.
all,
No,
okay,
he's a very patient man.
whoever called and was it they saw a silhouette in the bank after hours? Is that, I mean, like, how, I don't know.
I'm
That
gonna
makes no sense.
blame. All right, so like I said, you take your training where you can get it, and so you do things by the book, by protocol, every single time, so that when you have a real event, it goes off without a hitch because you followed protocol. The problem with that is whenever the other side doesn't play into your game, it just breaks because
Because
he
there
has
is
the right
no
to remain
other
silent.
side.
Yeah. And so I want you to look at what happens when you
See
decide
Home
to
Alone.
exercise your right to remain silent
No.
or don't exist. They just come in with like dogs and guns and helicopters and machines. They just hit harder. So, be careful with that Fifth Amendment. It's one of those that they really don't like.
Piece of cardboard. A police spokeswoman later explained that anything can set off a bank alarm. Animals, balloons, even weather. But in this case, no one was to blame for triggering the alarm. As for the cardboard cutout, it didn't seem to raise any complaints, just quietly stood there the whole time.
Oh,
Nice.
so
Number
there
7.
wasn't an alarm.
Police engaged.
No, they just, I don't know, maybe someone called or something. I don't know
Well,
what to
they
tell you.
just didn't they just say the alarm? That's why they
Maybe.
called.
I don't know. They
Come on,
just
man.
were called there. They were there. For some reason, it doesn't specify. We backed up to the beginning and listened to it again. Remember?
Right, and they just said that the alarm went off, and that's why
Okay,
they.
I'll agree to.
Let's digress.
Age stuffed tiger in a standoff. This one's a roaring good time, pun intended. It was February 2018 in Aberdeenshire, Scotland. Bruce Grubb, a farmer, was hosting a housewarming party when he noticed something terrifying in his cow shed. There, in the dim light, stood what appeared to be a fully grown tiger. Grubb under.
All right. So the information we have so far, we have a Scottish fellow who doesn't expect a tiger in his shed. He calls the police, says, "Oi, mate, I've got a tiger in my shed." That doesn't fly. They're not going to show up for that. There's no way you're sober. You're Scottish.
Wait a minute. That's not a Scottish accent that you just did.
Yeah, I can't do a Scottish accent. No. Thank
That
you
was
for pointing
more.
that out. I'm now very self-aware.
No, you're not.
Choose with it. You kind of
I didn't phase you. Anyway.
shut up. Victim. I thought we were having the victim Olympics. Why did we end it just as soon as I got good at it? Damn you, Trump.
Understandably freaked out, shined his flashlight at the creature to make sure he wasn't imagining things. But no, there it was, staring back at him. A real tiger, or so he thought. Worried for his cows and for himself, Grubb immediately called the police, even sending them a photo of the intruder. When officers arrived,
Well, you know why that photo got sent, right?
Why?
Because they did not believe him. He called, told him he had a tiger in his shed. They laughed, had a big giggle about it, and hung up on him. And he called back, was like, "Come on, man. Like, I need some help." And he's like, "No, dude, just go to bed, sleep it off. You'll be fine. Stop doing the mushrooms or whatever." And they hung up on him again. And so he's like, "Dude, what's your cell phone number?" He emailed him a fucking picture of a tiger in his fucking shed. And they were like, "Not fertilized." And he probably took a minute because at least 3 of the guys immediately stood up when I've got to see this shit.
Oh my god. Cat is like, is it Ernie Shells? And I'm sure you don't know who that is, but that shit's hilarious. Well, she put ES, but I had just put it out there. Oh my god.
And spoken.
arrived on the scene, the situation escalated. One officer, seeing the tiger in the distance, was too scared to leave his patrol car, More police units.
No, that's actually a tiger, dude. No, what are you doing getting out of the car? We don't even have guns. We're in Great Britain, dude. I've got this fucking baton. What is he going to do? Pick his teeth with it after he finishes eating my face? No, I'm not getting out. You unlock this rifle right now.
Oh my goodness.
No, by the way, I'm not saying it's likely that there would be a tiger involved in something in America, but this is exactly why we have guns. Just one of the many, many reasons.
Right.
Because if there happens to be a tiger in your shed, you don't necessarily have to call the cops except for the new paperwork. It's like, hey, there used to be a tiger in my shed. Come check it out. That's a whole different conversation from dude. Come get the fucking living tiger out of my shed. What? No, dude, go to bed, sleep it off.
Units were quickly called in for backup. What followed was a 45-minute standoff between the officers and the tiger. The situation got so serious that they even contacted a local wildlife park to ask if any of their tigers had gone missing. But after nearly an hour, something wasn't adding up. The tiger hadn't moved, not even a twitch. Grubb decided to
Hold
take a
on.
closer look.
Did you see that?
What
the fuck is this up here? What is that? What the hell is
that?
that?
Another tiger?
No,
Or
it's like I think it's supposed to be a round hay bale, but the AI fucked it
like
up
a
hard. Like this
maybe.
looks like a round hay bale with a crow leaned against it. It's really weird. The AI really screwed the pooch on this particular picture because that is a bundle of hay that looks a lot like a tiger. And this is obviously a fucking tiger. These
Okay,
are
so maybe I missed it. So he sent a picture right before they went out there?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't. I'm sure they didn't take him seriously until they saw a picture of a tiger in a fucking shed.
Right, but I'm wondering what this picture, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Mossberg moment. Ben T gets it. That's exactly what this is. A Mossberg moment. Might have to get that officer's ID and shit because we're gonna have to file a complaint on that first one that hung up on me, motherfucker.
right.
Yeah, I do drink sometimes, but I ain't never called this place saying there was a tiger in my shed before. Why you take me seriously?
Up. The tiger hadn't moved, not even a twitch. Grubb decided to take a closer look. Driving his truck toward the shed, he finally got a clear view of the dangerous predator. Turns out, the tiger was nothing more than a life-size plush toy. That's right, the whole time.
But think about it, dude. Like, if you saw a 7.5 foot long plush tiger of realistic dimensions and shape, would you approach to find out whether or not it's a plushie? I'd have put 2 bullets in that bitch before I did another thing.
But I mean, obviously that had to come from somewhere. I mean, I don't see somebody
did
doing that as
Yeah,
a prank.
somebody did it.
No.
Let me tell you something now. And all right, Sasquatch moment here. All right. So I went to school with a bunch of smart asses, and one of these guys owned a herd of cows. And one night, a group of the guys decided that they wanted to mess with him, and so they went out, and some of the cows they shaved in stripes. Don't ask me how they accomplished this because I can only imagine. But one cow they shaved in stripes. Another cow they did like checker pattern on. How they got the cows to stand still, I have no idea. But somebody painted tiger stripes on one of the cows, and they did a real good job of it too. And one of the cows got painted in zebra stripes. And so for about 2 months there, you could go by my buddy's house and see the checkerboard cow standing out there with his sunburn. He had a tiger in a pen because whoever did it was a fairly decent artist.
Right.
Wild.
The police had been staring down a stuffed animal. Who left it there? No one knows. But one thing's for sure. It sure made for one memorable standoff. Ironically, the police department later adopted a plush carnivore as their mascot. Number 6. Police in standoff with a stormtrooper.
Did you hear about this one? I heard about
No.
this one. I read about this one somewhere.
Hey,
Basically,
Gregory.
basically, homie thinks it's a dude hiding in the back seat or some shit, right? And so they try to get him to get out, but they never do approach the car because they're certain that he's fucking dangerous because he's wearing combat armor.
Oh my gosh.
In February 2019, California Highway Patrol officers found themselves in a high-speed pursuit with a Ford.
Bounce. Thanks a lot for proving just how ugly and immature you are. It's been real. And just so you know, I don't really care about your problems.
Give somebody somewhere some money. People put forth effort for things like this.
The chase was intense, speeds climbing, sirens blaring. But then, the driver exited the highway and veered into a residential neighborhood. It seemed like the chase was coming to an end when the car finally stopped. The driver and one passenger jumped out and made a run for it. But there was still one more figure in the back seat. The officers, weapons drawn, aimed at the vehicle and shouted commands. "Step out of the car," they ordered. But the backseat passenger, not a single response.
That right to remain silent's got to go, bro. It is just terrorizing officers everywhere.
I mean, what if that happened and it was a person? You know what I mean?
What if
Like,
he was deaf?
what?
What if he was deaf? Going to a LARP. His buddies
Oh,
didn't
well,
get
I mean,
their
we've
check
seen
cashed
what
or
has
some shit.
happened. I
Probably
mean,
get shot 700 times. Never know what happened.
mhm.
Right? Decoy backseat passenger. Yeah, I'm just going to blame the guy in the back. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. What's up, big player? Good to see you, bud.
Not even a flinch. One officer yelled out, "I know you're in the car," but still nothing. The standoff went on for several tense moments. Finally, the officers cautiously approached the vehicle, ready for anything. And then they understood. The passenger wasn't ignoring them. It was a life-size stormtrooper doll from the Star Wars collection, sitting there, motionless. That's right, all that tension over a plastic trooper.
Okay, but I got to give them credit. At least they didn't shoot the guys like the dude with the poor fucking acorn.
Right?
He
And
mag dumped.
yes, yes.
He
And
did a
Rumsky,
that roll and screamed, "I'm hit."
I didn't have a fake body, but what I did was I had big teddy bears and I took a big old teddy bear and I put a sheet over it and then made a noose and hung those. So that was pretty cool.
This is what a psychopath looks like.
I'm not a psychopath. Let's talk
Stormtroopers
about
already.
Halloween.
Harry James gets the participation trophy of the night. Stormtroopers aren't even dangerous. Can't hit anything.
From a galaxy far, far away. Eventually, the human driver and passenger were apprehended. But the stormtrooper? Well, let's just say he wasn't putting up a fight. Number 5. Standoff ends after robot snatches suspect's rifle. In September 2016, deputies from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department found themselves in an intense, hours-long standoff with a murder suspect named Brock Ray Bunge. Bunge had already attempted 2 robberies and was linked to a previous murder attempt. When deputies closed in, he fled, disappearing into the desert. A police helicopter.
Does that robot have a knife? Is he mugging this? What's fixing to happen here? I don't like this scene. I feel like violations are going to take place imminently through robot teleconnection.
That's the future right there, buddy.
They're just going to rape you in the middle of a field with a bunch of guys with guns and helicopters and police.
I mean,
Oh my God, that looks horrible. Am I the only one?
probation.
Helicopter eventually spotted him, hiding behind a bed on a raised berm, surrounded by shrubs and a wire fence. Ground officers couldn't get a clear view, and Bung wasn't responding to demands to surrender. The standoff stretched on for 6 hours. Finally, law enforcement decided to bring in some high-tech assistance, a $300,000 bomb disposal robot equipped with a camera and a robotic arm. Its mission, not to attack, but to quietly get close enough to retrieve Bunge's rifle. As the robot approached, law enforcement noticed something crucial. Bunge was lying face down with his gun at his.
You realize what they're fixing to tell you, right?
Yeah, he was dead.
Dead as Dillinger. Yes, sir. One shot to the head, self-inflicted.
Feet. The problem? The robot wasn't exactly silent. Bunge could have easily heard it coming. So, the authorities devised a plan. They flew a helicopter directly overhead, creating
Oh my
enough
God.
noise to mask the robot's approach. At the same time,
up.
officers yelled.
All right, hold on. You remember what I said? Where I remember you find your training where you can.
Right.
You got all these toys, but nobody knows what they're doing. So you have to get everybody together and teach them how to use all their toys, right?
Yeah.
And you have to do that when the most convenient opportunities, which is like anytime you get a bullshit call, you fall out and you roll in 9 deep so that everybody gets a little bit of experience doing this stuff. It does look dumb as hell whenever you come across a situation like that, but that right to remain silent, it's a real stickler, you know? It's like
yelled through loudspeakers, adding to the chaos. Meanwhile, the robot inched closer and closer, and then it reached out with its arm and snatched the rifle right from under Bunge's nose.
Welcome in.
Incredibly, Bunge didn't notice a thing. It wasn't until the robot returned to lift the wire fence for a better view that Bunge realized something was wrong. He reached for his gun, and it was gone. With no weapon left, and completely out.
Homie was alive? What kind of gate was he on, bro? He was on one.
That's what they said, was he was alive?
He said he was asleep. That's impossible, dude. That's impossible. That's impossible.
Reached for his gun, and it snatched the rifle right from under Bunge's nose. Incredibly, Bunge didn't notice a thing. It wasn't until the robot returned to lift the wire fence for a better view that Bunge realized something was wrong. He reached for his gun, and it was gone. With no weapon left and completely outmaneuvered, Bunge finally gave up.
And this is why you take your training where you can. I'm sorry, I'd get shot by one of these fruits because I'd be like, "Oh, there's nobody in there."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have a whole lot of patience for idiots.
I mean, right, with no sign of life, or that's just
Gonna get that robot from the backside.
Number 4, sleeping during standoffs. In December 2014, law enforcement officers were dispatched to a home in Whitecourt, Alberta, Canada, after receiving a call from a concerned citizen. The complaint? A 41.
Concerned citizens around the world, I beseech you to stop calling the cops. At least rethink it once before you pick up the receiver. The life you saved may be your neighbor's.
Year-old man, drunk and making serious threats to shoot someone. Upon arriving, police discovered the situation was even more delicate. The house contained a child and 4 other people. Tensions rose.
Oh no. People exist. Police department, we have a problem. What's the problem? People exist.
dun dun dun.
My stars and bars.
And a 7-hour standoff ensued. But then something unexpected happened. One of the hostages calmly walked out of the house and told officers he fell asleep. Just like that, the standoff came to an end without a single shot
That's
fired.
Canadian standoff for you, though. He probably apologized as soon as he woke up. I'm sorry, eh?
What? What?
The only case.
I have no idea what kind of ist that is, but I'm pretty sure it's some sort of ist.
Standoffs ending in snooze mode. In March 2016, in Newark, Ohio, police found themselves in another bizarre standoff, this time with a 75-year-old man who had fired shots at his own bed and walls.
All right, we got shots fired, ladies and gentlemen. We finally found a real one.
All right. Hmm.
At his home. Despite repeated demands for him to surrender, the man didn't respond. It turns out he was partially deaf, but that wasn't the only reason.
Well,
After
I mean,
hours of
I hate to be that guy, but if you let off a couple of rounds of a 38 inside of an apartment, you'd be partially fucking deaf too. That's
Right.
serious, bro. It's rough outside, but when you got it like inside a room, and don't ask me how I know this, but when it's inside a room, it's like a million times louder. Your ears just do that. Everything goes white and goes wee. That's it.
waiting, police heard the sound of snoring coming from inside. That's right. The man had fallen asleep during the standoff. Officers sent in a surveillance device, located him sleeping in his bed, and moved in to peacefully resolve the situation. They woke him up right at his bedside. The charges: creating fear and wielding weapons while under the influence. A reminder that sometimes, even in a standoff, a good nap can bring things to a close. Number 3, standoff ends.
I've been telling my children that for years. Like, you need a nap now. Like, go. These little bastards running around like fruitcakes. Does your kid ever, like, right before they go to sleep, do that just getting into absolutely everything, like just knocking everything over? It's like 5 minutes before they go to sleep, and you're watching them, you're knowing that they're running out of gas. Like any second now, they're just gonna flop over and blink, blink, blang, 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 meh, jumping up and down, kicking Legos, just generally pitching a fit, and then suddenly they're falling over.
Justice, we call her the drunk baby, because usually like 30 minutes before bedtime, she just becomes like really
She starts just stumbling around.
Yeah. When she's fighting it.
Might want to move that bedtime up 15 minutes. Does she fight it once you put her into bed?
Not if I let her, you know what I mean, get to that point.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Right.
So you want to go to bed?
Right. Exactly. So exactly.
Right. Weapons.
Negotiator sings Christmas song for suspect. It was the holiday season of 2018 in Spring City, Pennsylvania, and Nathaniel R. Lewis, a 34-year-old man going through a tough divorce, was about to bring an unexpected twist to the Christmas spirit. After a series of personal struggles, Lewis barricaded himself inside his home and fired shots, which led his sister-in-law, concerned for his safety, to call the police. The situation escalated the next morning. When law enforcement arrived...
Wait a second. Anybody else catch that part?
No, I didn't.
No? I'll play it again for you.
Okay.
Shots, which led his sister-in-law, concerned for his safety, to call the police. The situation escalated the next morning.
What?
What's the problem with this sentence?
The next morning.
Right. They're like, they got a phone call. It was like, there's somebody over here shooting. They're like, okay, we'll be along directly. Is that a phone? What's up, Brandon? It went by the next morning. Oh, that's not good, sir. Oh, Lord.
When law enforcement arrived, Lewis responded with more gunfire. Officers returned fire, and a tense standoff began. For hours, SWAT negotiators tried to convince Lewis to surrender peacefully, but he wasn't having it. Until Lewis made a surprising offer. He said he would surrender if the negotiator would sing White Christmas by Nat King Cole. Now,
does he have hostages? No?
No.
He's just in there alone by himself.
Yep.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Why not?
Why not?
I might have to sit and listen to Nat King Cole a couple of times before I try this, but
now, That's not exactly standard protocol in hostage negotiations, but the negotiator agreed.
Why are y'all having war in chat? Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can't we all just get along, man? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Why
You
can't
sure?
we be friends? Why can't
I
we?
can.
Oh my god. This is so weird.
Best eyebrows in the business. Why are y'all warring? I don't understand. I just don't get
It's
it.
not more. It's just fun. Just playing.
I don't get it. Why would you play? I mean, if you just happen to have, name
Oh
that
my God.
cringe state.
Right?
Agreed. After 10 tense hours, the song began. And to everyone's relief, it worked. The negotiator's rendition of White Christmas finally convinced Lewis to give himself
Hold on.
just like Paul.
What?
Oh, that was pretty good. I'll come out. Right? Oh, yeah. I'm dreaming of a... Yeah, we'll do it.
He promised. The standoff ended peacefully, leaving everyone involved with a truly unforgettable holiday memory. It's not every day a SWAT negotiator sings Christmas classic
Right,
to
James?
resolve a standoff.
I want at least 2 full rounds of all around the mulberry bush.
Hey, if it works, it works. Number 2, disappearing suspect. On May the 1st, 2019, a bizarre standoff unfolded in Aloha, Oregon. Miguel.
All right, ain't Oregon the place where they decriminalized all the drugs?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right, just checking.
Almares Estrada, a 21-year-old local, fired a shot at the tire of a parked vehicle and then quickly retreated to his apartment.
Hold on. Was it his vehicle?
I don't know.
Because I'll tell you a story. I know a guy who shot his own truck in a bank parking lot, and the cops came and picked him up, took him downtown, dropped all the charges, and brought him back to his truck where he had it towed away and scrapped. He shot it with a 44 Magnum right through the engine block and then sat down on the curb and waited for the cops to show up. He was done in 45 minutes or so. Like he'd already called some tow truck to come get it. He was just done with that truck, I guess. I don't know. He's a very final sort of guy.
Yeah.
He's critical sometimes. I don't piss him off myself. I just, he thinks I'm funny, so I'm lucky that way, I guess.
Officers responded, evacuating the area and setting up a roadblock. They tried everything: phone calls, SWAT, and negotiations. But not a single response from Estrada. Hours passed, and still nothing. Finally, SWAT moved in. They used a crowbar to force open the apartment door and launched a flashbang inside, expecting a confrontation. But when they entered, Estrada wasn't there. Turns out, he'd slipped away before the police even arrived. Hours later, he peacefully surrendered himself to authorities, leaving them to wonder how he'd managed to vanish so easily. But that wasn't the...
So another SWAT on an empty house because he was gone before the cops got there. What's up, Joko? Hey, I heard a lot about you today from American Uncensored.
Well, if they start finding out the facts, they might actually learn something. And that's disturbing. I don't like it when people learn on the internet. Flat earthers. And people who believe in space travel.
Yes, I saw that they were going to end it. Yep. They reversed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certain things shouldn't be legal. And I'm not the type of person who believes that like laws should be written just out of hand. But like cocaine's a hell of a drug. I'm not sure that should be legal. It does amazing things to people like you would not believe. Methamphetamines, hell of a drug. Does unbelievable things to people. You
Mhm.
know, heroin has no legitimate use that I could think of, except perhaps when you reach a point of hospice, right? Like, I'm not saying drugs good. I'm saying drugs bad. Okay.
Okay.
And some of the strains of weed I've come across, I would classify now as drugs because shit debilitating. I'd be sitting there looking at a hamburger going, how am I supposed to eat this whole thing? And then it's gone and I don't know who got it.
Mm.
The only case of a suspect pulling a disappearing act in 2019. Just a month earlier, in April, another suspect managed to slip away during a police standoff, this time in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Police arrived on the scene and immediately noticed a ladder leaning against a building, leading up to a window.
You're right.
Inside, they spotted a man peering out. The standoff began. Officers used loudspeakers, distraction devices, and even chemical agents to try and force the suspect out of the house. But after hours of negotiation and waiting, the house remained silent. When the police finally forced their way inside, they were met with a...
All right.
That makes me think of that saying, I don't do drugs. I just light trees on fire and inhale.
I had an infected tooth for years, like that didn't show up on an x-ray because it was up against my sinus. And so every time I did cocaine, I would get a splitting freaking headache. Like it was the abscess that I couldn't feel otherwise. When the rest of it went numb, that was all I could feel. And so I'd immediately, it was as soon as the numb hit, massive headache.
I couldn't do it. As soon as the numb hit, like I would gag. Like,
Right.
you
Oh,
know?
that's just terrible.
That's like, when
Mm.
never mind. That might be a different episode.
I probably shouldn't continue my sentence either.
surprise. The house was completely empty. It seemed the suspect had escaped unnoticed. Right.
Now, I get what you're saying, Lou, but if what they want to do is come steal the copper out of my garage and smoke more meth, I'm sorry. I'm going to riddle them with holes, bro. It's my copper. If I'm going to smoke meth, it's going to be my meth.
Right.
Anybody stripping my house, it better be me.
It under their noses. Two suspects.
No, I can't
two
stand
disappearing
that
acts.
gag.
Well, I'm aroused.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
I could never be a porn star. I couldn't do it.
no, you could do it. Just
No, I couldn't
press
do
charges.
it. For several reasons, I couldn't do it.
No, just don't press charges. That's all you got to do.
If you choke me during sex and it ain't no good, I'm calling the motherfucking cops, okay?
Amen, sister. I need to be quicker on the draw with that. Damn.
In two standoffs where the
I
only
saw that
thing
coming.
left-
I saw that coming. I saw the look on your face when you thought of that, and I missed the button the first time.
the house. Number 1, murderer goes shopping during police standoff. In March 2018, Michael R. Reynolds, a 36-year-old man, barricaded himself inside a home in Terre Haute, Indiana. Refusing to surrender, he kicked off a standoff with law enforcement that would last for 2 days. But here's where it gets unbelievable. 12 hours into the standoff, Reynolds somehow managed to sneak out of the house. And what did he do with his newfound freedom? He went shopping. A neighbor even saw Reynolds leave, but didn't report it to the authorities. So
That man, a real G.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
thugging. He living that life. He bout that life. Whoa.
police continued their siege, completely unaware that their suspect had already left. Where did Reynolds go? Walmart. There, he casually
That
made
makes
several
sense.
purchases, including a mobile phone. After his little shopping spree, Reynolds
Homie bought a
oh
burner.
my God.
Hey, no, man, they got my ass. They're surrounded the house right now. Well, no, I ran down to Walmart to grab this phone and sneak back in a little while.
That's crazy. Like, for real.
Yeah, I mean, he's a killer, so chances are he's not stable.
You think?
Well, I mean, whether you became unstable and killed someone or killed
Your
someone,
Honor, I
and
wasn't even
unstable.
home.
Your Honor,
Reynolds didn't go far. He slipped into another.
you got a future in
Just
this
3 blocks
organization,
away.
sir. I
It
like the way
wasn't
you
until
think.
Walmart employees reported seeing Reynolds in the store that police realized their suspect had gone for a quick shopping trip. And by the time the authorities caught up with
What
him,
the fuck was that?
the situation
That was like.
That was that gag you did again.
reported seeing Reynolds in the store that police realized their suspect had gone for a quick shopping trip. And by the time the authorities caught up with him at the second,
Look, you sounded like one of those fucking goats.
had gone for a quick shopping trip. And by the time the authorities caught up with him at the second,
Oh my god.
Oh my god! I'll stop. Okay, all right.
the situation escalated, ending in a deadly confrontation. So, while the police were locked in a standoff with an empty house, Reynolds was busy running errands. Well, that wraps up today's episode of
Motherfucking excellent. That was crazy. All right. What do you know? What do you know of ancient weapons? Like, if you had to pick like some ancient weapons from ancient history, what would be your favorites? Like,
Anything that would kill?
well, that's about 85% of stuff mankind produced in the Stone
Well,
Age. So
I
you
mean-
got a glut of choice.
I don't know.
Personally, I always like the atlatl and the throwing darts. Right? It's like
The what?
atlatl. It's like a stick that
atlatl?
yes, it's an atlatl.
Ad-
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was really going to blow your mind when I show you a salamander and tell you it's an axolotl.
Axolotl? Axolotl?
Yeah, don't hurt yourself, kid. Anyway, I like atlatl with the throwing darts, right?
An
Because
atlatl.
yeah,
Atlatl.
atlatl. Yeah.
Atlatl. Okay.
I'm sorry if it offends you.
No, it just sounds funny, and I was having a hard
Anyway.
time saying it.
So, if you want to go biblical, one of the greatest weapons in prehistory of man was the jawbone of an ass. Wasn't it Samson that fought off the Israelites with the jawbone of an ass? He fought off an whole fucking army with it. Last of the Mohicans, the 1996 feature, I believe. The guy utilized a weapon that was actually in the shape of a moose's shoulder.
Mm.
That's why it's such a weird looking weapon is apparently at some point in time in Mohican history, somebody used a moose leg to fuck some shit up. Can't imagine it, but it kind of probably went about like Jesus with the money lenders and the oxtail.
Mhm.
That's kind of how I picture it in my head, though. You know? Biblical.
Biblical.
So we've got some really disturbing weapons that are purportedly Native American, although some of them I think may have been hoaxes.
Have you ever wondered what
There he
secrets
was,
lie
with the jawbone of an
behind
ass.
the genius and unsettling weapons of Native American warriors? Hidden in the annals of history are tools of survival and warfare so innovative you've probably never heard of them. From devices that could bring down birds mid-flight to blades that instilled awe in early
Unalive
explorers,
10,000, that's
these
right.
weapons showcase unparalleled craftsmanship and resilience. Join us as we delve into these
But
remarkable creations.
I can't remember what army it was, though. I think it was the Israelites, but I guess it may have been Canaanites. And it's Samson.
Samsonite? What? No.
Oh, Samson. I'm sorry.
The last one might just redefine what you thought you knew about ancient armaments. Number 1, gunstock club. Imagine wielding a weapon that not only delivers devastating blows, but also turns the invaders' symbols
Yeah,
of power
that's the one.
against them. Enter the gunstock club. A fierce
That thing is nightmarish, dude. Could you imagine seeing some redskin run out the woods, swiping one of those things at your scalp? Bro, hey, hold on. You bring down a bird mid-flight. Is that why you rode a motorcycle? Too fast? to escape your own gas
Oh,
mid-flight.
that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Participation award.
Yeah, we're gonna give you one of them meaningless trophies.
They're not meaningless.
War crafted by
I
Native
mean-
American warriors that you've probably never heard of. Shaped strikingly like the stock of a European musket, this club wasn't just built for combat. It was designed to send a chilling message across the battlefield. Originating in the late 17th century
Oh wow.
and gaining prominence among tribes like the Lakota by the mid-19th century, the Gunstock Club's true genesis remains a captivating mystery. Some historians believe that indigenous craftsmen were inspired by the muskets of British, French,
The story I was told was that there was a great warrior of a particular nation up in the Algonquin region, one of their nations, and he defended his village, which had been they were at war with another tribe, and they knew they were being hunted, and so he had placed his village in a very defendable location up on some rocks. And homie stood up there for a couple of weeks and fought people off until he broke all of his weapons and took up the upper leg bone of a moose or deer or elk or something of that ilk, and continued beating these people away from attacking his stuff until the rest of the tribe could come and run them off. But and that's the story I heard. But what do I know? I'm just some white dude in Georgia.
Welcome
colonial
in, Desert
troops,
Goat.
seeing how these firearms, once emptied of bullets, were flipped and used as blunt force weapons. By mimicking the shape of these muskets,
Bro, I think the barrel itself would be a more effective club.
Yeah.
Just the raw metal of the barrel. You cut that thing off by about 2 foot and just wear somebody out with that son of a bitch, dude. Crown of King.
native warriors could invoke the same fear and awe that firearms held, without ever firing a shot.
Was the Philistines.
Theories
You're
abound.
correct.
Could it be
Samsonites.
that the Gunstock Club was an independent innovation, a product of indigenous ingenuity rather than imitation? Regardless of its origins, this weapon was a masterpiece of both form and function, carved from robust.
And like I said, if you want to see a really good representation of one of these things done well, the Last of the Mohicans, I believe the mid-90s version, the third or fourth one in the stack of them. Not the old black and white one, but the one in the late 80s, mid-90s.
Hardwoods like maple, ash, or oak, and often decorated with intricate geometric patterns, animal motifs, or clan symbols. Each club was
Philistine.
unique to its wielder. Some even embedded blades of flint, horn, or iron near the
ATL, what's up?
Yeah, why don't you love me
adding
no
a
more?
lethal edge to its crushing power.
Talk to me about what?
The angular
I ain't
design wasn't just for show.
I ain't going nowhere. ATL. Not going nowhere. Right here. Right here.
Okay, now that that's settled.
It allowed for both slashing and thrusting attacks, making it a versatile tool in close quarters combat. Beyond the battlefield,
Lawless
the
world.
Gunstock Club
In
stood
a
as
world
a
where
status symbol.
Lawless TV joins.
The most elaborately adorned clubs were reserved for esteemed chiefs and warriors, serving as a testament to their prowess and position within the.
You ever hear the story of the last war chief?
Zombie. Zombie. Zombie.
I
Sorry.
would yeet Lawless, but I've just gotten my voice back, and I think a good
Yeah, yeet.
redneck yeet would probably end it all. Cranberries,
Yeet.
yeah. Do you know the story of the last war chief?
No.
All right. So homie, I think, did it in like World War II or Korea, right?
Mhm.
And he had to send the evidence of all the things that he had done in combat back to his council and have them vote on whether or not. I'm pretty sure he got a Medal of Honor too. I mean, he was a badass. I'll go dig up the video on that. I think the fat electrician did a excellent coverage on that guy.
Yeah.
The tribe. So, what makes the Gunstock Club particularly fascinating? It's a symbol of adaptation and psychological warfare, a way for Native American warriors to turn the tide against technologically superior foes
I don't see it.
by transforming their enemies' advantages into their own.
How's that?
It's a chapter in history that showcases resilience and creativity in the
I'm
face.
sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just saying you're just as damn shot. Yeah, okay, you stole my buddy's rifle and you came back swinging it. I'm still going to shoot you, which is why they're on reservations, frankly. I mean, they conquered this land when they came here. So, like, I don't want to hear it. Everybody's been conquered. Everyone's been slaves. Everyone's enslaved everyone else. This is history we're talking about here. Forever.
Ever.
And ever. Yes, like straight from the Sandlot. Ever.
Forever.
Forever.
Face of encroaching forces. Number 2, Tomahawk. Picture yourself navigating the dense forests of.
I'm a paleontologist. It's Deary Off the Wall. It's this thing over here because I like it. I'm gonna play it right now.
You know about cars? Yes, I'm a paleontologist.
Oh, it's okay. There's dynamite in this bag too. I am a paleontologist.
I'm a paleontologist.
Paleontologists study really old stuff.
Like crackers.
Because bad movies are funny.
That's Deary Off the Wall. Yeah. I tried to get them to come on and do a Sasquatch Shield show. Like they all used to have YouTube channels. And apparently me going and messing with the channels like notified them that the channel still existed. A couple of them got took down. Nice.
Early America, where every shadow holds a secret and survival hinges on the tools you carry. Among these, one weapon stands out, not just for its utility, but for its profound cultural significance: the tomahawk. Ever wondered how a simple axe could shape the destiny of nations and become a symbol of both warfare and peace? The tomahawk was more than a mere tool.
All right, yeah, I
It
got
was
you,
an
bro.
ingenious
Tomahawks are
extension,
cool.
balanced
I like
word,
them.
were from stone, bone, or deer
War
antler,
Club.
honing
Looking
them
for
to
the War
securely a weapon, both sturdy. The arrival of
got one of
Europeans
those.
came
Hold
new, but the story, hating a weapon,
Right there.
both sturdy and effective.
I got one of them. Looks fucking just like it. It's in there somewhere.
But the story doesn't end there. With the arrival of Europeans,
All right, I
came
want to
new
talk about the
materials
atomic bus.
and ideas.
Yeah.
I'm going with the weapons.
Yeah.
And we're basically going over just knives, flint. Like I said, I think a few of these might actually be hoaxes. Some of the more there's this specifically. There's this batch of
Gasoline.
supposedly I can't remember the name of the tribe. It's supposed to be a particular tribe in northern Mexico, so like the border region of Texas, Arizona, Mexico, that area, right? And they were found by the same group of people in 3 consecutive years, which is why I think it's a hoax. But they're called, I think, erratic eccentrics because they are extremely complicated lithic structures. These things are wild. How do you feel about buses?
I like buses.
Have you ever been on a long bus trip?
Yes. When I went to Louisiana.
And how long was that?
7 hours, 8 hours, something like that.
I've never done it, but I can't imagine it. It just seemed. I went on a 3-hour plane flight.
Right.
I've never been on the longest bus trip I ever went on was on a school bus, and I don't think that counts.
No.
It's not the same, right?
No, I mean, not really.
Right. So,
Oh yeah, let's look at our polls
oh,
because you
you
our
gonna get on a
polls.
poll for me? Let's make it big. You like big polls,
Yeah.
right?
So I had the same question you did, except I just had yes and no. I didn't know you had a third one. And 56% said yes, they would get on it on the bus.
Right. Okay. I got yes 52%, no 23%, and three eyes and flipper kids for 23%. Yeah, well, I might be a bit of a clown. Clowns are scary. All right, so public transportation has been an issue since the dawn of freaking mankind. There were cabs in ancient Rome. They had the hansom in early 19th century Britain was your most common. You had a very similar thing in India, China. About the only place that didn't use a hansom at some point in time or another
31
was America. We kind of skipped it and went straight to the gas powered buggy, horses and buggies, man. So public transportation is an interesting concept. We don't
Mhm.
do trains like Britain did. It would be expensive, but
That's what yes, right, Kat? Yes.
yeah, the idea of a luxury transport that can take you from New York to LA in 27 hours, but the time doesn't matter because you're basically living in a mobile hotel and it drives over a normal road. Nothing special. No updates, upgrades, none of that. No automatic driving, just a endless bus. Goes there, comes back, goes there, comes back.
I mean, nuclear, powered.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see what they have to say about it.
Petrol-powered buses, diesel buses, electric buses. But how about a nuclear-powered bus with a bowling alley, swimming pool, and can change its own tires at 55 miles per hour?
Hell yeah.
Yes, such a bus exists. Sort of.
Sort of.
This is the story of the Coyote Cyclops 180, possibly the most craziest bus ever conceived.
All right. So there's a couple of issues with putting a nuclear reactor on a bus. Very similar to the issues of putting a nuclear reactor on a train. The issues are size. If you're using that size of nuclear reactor, chances are it's a breeder reactor, and that means you're going to end up with some very, very volatile things when you're done. Now, if you can arrange to have something done, like, I don't know, taken to another nuclear reactor, because you're basically creating fuel for other reactors. A breeder reactor is kind of dirty. It's like a fast and easy way to do nuclear, but it's small and it's compact. It's small enough you maybe could fit one on a bus if you were clever, right? But dear Lord, if that thing ever wrecked, the place it wrecked would be just wrecked.
A hole.
No, it wouldn't blow up. That's the dangerous part. It
Oh.
would do a Chernobyl type effect, right? Where you end up with this super irradiated elephant's foot sitting out in the desert next to a highway that's been condemned and will never be used again, just sitting there. Because to this day, to my understanding, the robots and shit we've developed don't have the ability to maintain their cohesiveness and their programming as they get close to such a heavy irradiated lump. The elephant's foot is still melting, bro. Sorry.
Hi.
If you can say what?
Now,
What?
I told you that there was once a
We did a what to who?
Oh, no, Firm said if I can say that. If not, remove it, please. Remove what? YouTube
YouTube may have already
obviously
got it.
didn't let it go. I don't know.
Apparently not. No. StreamYard didn't do it either. So
Yeah, it's not in street. I know, but the only comment before was like, yeah, it didn't show.
Yeah, it's not in streaming.
YouTube got it. Yeah. Yeah.
That shit
YouTube
got
got
filtered before it ever got here. Whatever. Sorry, bro. Chill out.
What's up, Tommy D?
Tommy D. What up, baby? How you
I
doing?
can see it. Wow. Well, now I want to know. Text me what the comment was, Firm. You got my number. I want to know now.
Call me.
The bus that was 110 feet long was powered by a small nuclear reactor and had a swimming pool, a bowling alley, lounges,
So,
restaurants.
yes, on the
staterooms.
swimming pool.
You would tell me that I'm kind of nuts.
Yes.
Well, actually, a bus like that once really did exist. Now, back in 1976, Paramount Pictures released the comedy movie The Big Bus, and I have the DVD of it right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
I've got a
while
copy of
the
that.
movie was of great interest
And
to
how old is
those
that?
who liked buses.
Oh,
The movie turned out
70.
He said 76. Is that what he said? I don't know.
Oh, no. It was not the 90s at all.
DVD of it right here. Movie The Big Bus, 76.
76.
Paramount Pictures released the comedy movie The Big Bus, and I have the DVD of it right here. Now, while the movie was of great interest to those who liked buses, the movie turned out to be a big box office flop at the time. Now, over the years, its artistic value has been reconsidered, and it's now thought of as a much better movie than it was back then. Now, in this video, I'm
All
not.
right.
OJ Simpson was in it. What?
What did we do? Where?
Oh, no.
OJ Simpson was in. Yeah. No, wait. No, that's Airplane. Wasn't it?
Did anyone see Parade of Planets? No.
Oh, now I'm wondering if OJ Simpson was in The Big Bus.
I don't know.
I may have to watch The Big Bus to find out.
Not going to talk about the plot line or the
You have to share-
storyline or the
share screen.
actors or the
I pressed the
characters
button,
that they
man.
played.
Like-
I'm only going to talk about one thing, and that's actually
What's
the
up,
main
America
character of the
Uncensored?
movie, which was
What's
the bus.
up? Welcome,
And
welcome.
the bus was called the Coyote Cyclops 180 because it's a really fascinating story on
Yeah,
how this
blue unicorn on a
story, how
phone. It sucks. Vertical sucks.
We got to play it a really annoying.
But the
guitar.
naughty corner is, we have changes coming. So,
Yeah, she's going to fire me.
no, I'm
was
not.
built, how it operated.
I'm just going to take more
I don't think
control.
anyone has ever done a
Well, I'm aroused.
Y'all watch
Listen
some
to me,
weird
Daddy.
movies?
Yeah.
video on that aspect of the movie. So let's get started in learning about the Coyote
Let's get
Cyclops
started.
180 bus from the movie The Big Bus. The 1970s, a time when disaster-themed movies ruled, with productions such as The Towering Inferno, Earthquake, and The Poseidon Adventure. Yet there was one other movie which was a spoof of all other disaster movies of the time, and its main star was a bus. Yes, that's right, a bus. But it wasn't just any bus. This was the
Can you
1976
see? I mean,
Studios
it's hard for us to see those
Big
people.
Bus. Its main
Yeah, it's
star was
ridiculous.
Cyclops, a 110-foot long behemoth with 32 wheels and propelled by a miniature nuclear reactor. It was, in its own way, the ultimate in luxury and power, unseen anywhere on the road before or since. As
That
this
thing
would be,
couldn't drive
course,
on the
AI,
road.
a real bus
All right. So when they were putting together the concepts for it, it was decided that it would do a run from there would be one leg that goes from Los Angeles to Denver and another leg that goes from Denver to New York. And the idea was to have 4 or 5 of them, which would, a whole fleet of them, which would make it worthwhile to build a dedicated roadway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so these roadways would be straighter than your average American highway, flatter, more like train tracks so that you could do a bunch of them. And it'd be really, really, really cheap. And once you get it operational, it's just maintenance expenses.
Mm-hmm.
had to be built for this epic production. So, how was it accomplished? David Sandmeyer of the now long-defunct Bus World magazine traveled to Paramount Pictures to get the scoop on the Coyote Cyclops 180 and then published an article on the experience.
I gotta get my phone. Hold on.
According to Sandmeyer, Paramount sent the order for the bus down to the construction and special effects teams. But there was one problem. Nobody had any idea how to build a 110-foot-long bus. Motor Coach Industries and Eagle were the big names in U.S. coach manufacturing back then, but they had no clue on how to build something on the scale demanded by Paramount. In a classic move of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what worked and what didn't, the production team figured out a vague, untried plan. They would acquire 2 international semis and build 2 55-foot bus bodies on top of them. The truck buses could then be driven to a filming location separately and then latched together to create the 110-foot monster desired by Paramount. It has been said.
So if I'm understanding this right, while they didn't actually build an atomic bus, they built the superstructure of such a thing as envisioned by the people that were trying to plan some shit like this. Bowling alley. How do you do a bowling alley on a bus? That throws the whole concept of bowling off. Never mind the swimming pool. I feel like that's just a danger waiting to happen. That's lawsuits, baby.
I mean, they have like the little swimming pools and spas and limos and stuff. So, I mean, putting it in a bus.
Yes, everything is bigger in Texas.
The 1940s era Kaiser Superbus may have been the inspiration for Cyclops. Believe it or not, there were no technical drawings or concept renderings from Paramount's art department to work with. So the idea was to just make it up as they went along with the special effects and construction teams led by Gail Brown and Lee Gask, respectively. The team plowed through 12-hour workdays, 7 days a week, cutting and welding metal, painting and experimenting with axles, drivetrains, and chassis until they landed on something they liked. The end result was basically created through trial and error. Now, let's take a look at some of the basic specifications.
All right, here we go. This is the part I wanted to see.
Cyclops 180.
That is crazy.
Were actually real. Number 1, length is 110 feet, divided into 2 articulated sections. Number 2, width is 10 feet 6 inches. Number 3, height at its highest point is 18 feet 4 inches. Number 4, weight is 75 tons. Number 5, capacity is 100.
Was that a picture of it hanging off a cliff or something?
Oh yeah, it's in the movie. Yeah. It's
Oh,
very, yeah, it's very, it's dramatic.
crunch, crunch, crunch.
Number 6, there are 32 wheels, of which 8 are driving and not including spares. Number 7 is powered by a scaled-down Type A4W pressurized.
That just looks scary.
reactor, similar.
That's a breeder. The reason these things are useful, really, is other than the heat extractor, the heat exchanged water, it doesn't really exchange any radioactive anything with the environment that it's in. And when you're done, you can just unplug that breeder reactor and plug in another one and just haul the whole reactor off somewhere else to go make into whatever types of bombs the U.S. government are using nowadays. Pretty much. That's why we don't use breeder reactors. There's only one used for the byproduct.
To those used on a U.S. Navy Nimitz-class aircraft carrier and generating nearly 3,000 power.
O.J. Simpson was not.
Tires and wash its own windows. Number 9 has a bowling alley, swimming pool, restaurants, and lounges for the ultimate passenger experience in bus travel. And last,
all right. So let's say let's say hypothetically, right? Greyhound builds a fleet of atomic buses. The prices for tickets are the same as they are today. It takes you whatever amount of time longer to go by bus rather than go by plane, but you get a room to yourself, an open bar, a swimming pool, and there's only 180 other people in that 110 feet plus crew.
I mean,
$99.
if I have
You
nothing but time, why not, right?
know it's cheaper for old people to live full time on a cruise ship than it is to get proper
Yes,
hospital care.
yes. I've actually come across like a couple channels that have popped
Yeah.
up in my feed where they do that, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, and they get covered by the insurance on the cruise ship while they're there. So it's win-win-win. It's better than a gated community with much better services. And anyway, we'll move on.
Fleet number 10 was specifically designed to
Lawless,
run
baby.
nonstop
Welcome back.
from New York City to Denver, Colorado, a distance of 1,781 miles, and is owned and operated by Coyote Bus Lines. Amazingly, much of the bus was real. Up front was a driving area inspired by an aircraft flight deck. The bus had seating for 2 drivers, and at first
got radar.
a full complement of working controls, just like in an airplane. Later on, the front international truck lost its engine and manual transmission, getting a Ford engine and an Allison automatic in its place. In doing the drivetrain swap, the construction team gave the left driver the automatic transmission shifter, but otherwise, the bus was still controllable by both drivers. Another dramatic change up front happened with the front axle. The single front axle of the international donor truck wasn't going to work, so the construction team doubled up the axles and then doubled the tires on them as well. That meant this gargantuan bus had a total of 8 steering tires. A grand total of 32 tires were mounted on the bus at any given time, and there were more available as spares. The bus body was made out of fiberglass, and the articulating section had only a few degrees of rotation.
Are there swingers on the bus?
Was paramount.
Swingers.
Swingers.
Probably. That's an atomic bus.
Yeah.
You gonna get some glow in the dark cuties?
Some what? Glow in the dark? What?
Cooties.
Cooties?
Yeah. You're gonna have a clinic on the bus?
A whopping $500,000.
Cooties.
About $2.7 million in today's money. I just
She's penicillin penny. She's the queen of the Sunset Strip. Well, if she ever gives you any, you better see your doctor real quick.
The bus boasted incredibly futuristic and luxurious features. These included an automatic tire changer that permitted the replacement of a wheel as
I mean, I would be on the bus.
the defective
I don't
unit
know if I'm a hot chick.
road. There was also an automatic window washing system that could be operated as the bus traveled, allowing guests on board the perfect view at all times.
What is that?
Which in reality were
These are scenes from the movie. In that case, there was some disaster going on with the pool up top, and bubbles got involved. And next thing you know, they're.
I'm gonna have to watch the movie now.
I haven't, dude. I probably haven't watched it since I was 8. It's just I
I've
remember
never heard of it. That was
I've got a whole shit ton of DVDs in there, and I'm almost certain that one's in there. I am positive I took it from the video store. I don't know if it made it in the transfer from Pops to here. So it's either here or it's in the garage out of Pops.
I mean, I wasn't even a thought when this movie came out, so
Me neither.
simulated. Amenities
No, this is like nukes on a bus.
Bar in the lounge over the cockpit, which was actually real, to a bowling alley, a pool, a bicentennial themed stateroom,
Dumb and Dumber,
restaurant, most of which were filmed on a soundstage, as was the passenger section. But the most impressive aspect to Cyclops was the nuclear turbine engine, which allowed it to travel without stopping to refuel on its route from New York City to Denver. Additionally, the name Cyclops was derived from the giant extra driving light at the center front of the bus. All filming took place in Los Angeles, and in reality, the furthest the bus traveled was San Diego on a promotional run. Unfortunately, Cyclops was scrapped shortly after the movie wrapped up production. While no MC-8 or Eagle 05 at the time could claim the features just described, at least one bus did, and it was Cyclops.
No, you fit in right. It's the naughty corner. You're good.
The story of the coyote.
All right. Now, how you gonna bowl on a moving bus?
Right. Well, and I mean, a moving bus in a pool. I mean,
That's like
it'd
having
be
a
like
mini
a wave pool, I would think.
Well, I mean, okay, pool, sure, whatever. I've filled up the bed of my truck. I know how that shit rolls. Listen, what I'm saying, all you need is a tarp and a little bit of plastic. It's all like
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. You can
Yeah.
chill like be chilling like a villain, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure you get somebody trustworthy behind the wheel, because otherwise you're losing all your water and half your people. They don't hold it tight.
I mean, if you
Stripper
had a
poles.
stripper pole in the pool, I mean, you could get a lot more action. I'm just saying. Or I should say some biggins could get more action. I don't know.
Cyclops 180, one of the most wackiest and nuttiest buses ever. And it really ranks up there with the Paris City Rama bus, but for different reasons, of course. Now, a couple of more things I just wanted to add. At the end of the movie, Trailways Bus Company, which was a large American intercity bus carrier, was credited with their help and technical assistance in creating Cyclops and the production of the movie, although it's been unclear as to exactly what assistance they provided in building Cyclops or producing the movie. And I'm just going by the Bus World article because it appears that the bus was actually built at Paramount. And secondly,
All right, dude, you lost me. All right, this is actually the bonus track. I don't even remember if I linked this one in the
Yeah, you did.
in the description. I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much money did Joe Biden spend on his campaign
I
when he
have
beat
no
Trump?
idea. I have no idea.
Boatloads. I think it was something like $785 million, something like that. Kamala Harris spent 120, like 1.2 billion,
Mm-hmm.
and lost. Now, was all of that money donations? Was it all Pack Blue stuff? Was it all I don't know. I wonder how much of it was borrowed and now has to be paid back, because there's some kind of weird things going on in the back halls of Washington. She's been kind of shuffled off to the side corridors hardcore. Anyway. Undoomed is a content creator on YouTube. He has a better voice than I do, I think. And he does these, it's not always political. It's usually somehow like culture war type stuff, which has a heavy political crossover. But when I was looking through at the different autopsies of the Kamala campaign, I came across this one, and I can't find but a couple of places where I don't necessarily disagree. I think there's just more to it, right? And I agree with the premise, but then there's more than he's saying. I think he's saying a lot by not saying stuff. Anyway, we'll see. Undoomed, folks.
The next president of the United States.
Diggins.
In my humble view, lights out.
You wrote Trump is toast. Do you stand behind that today?
Oh, even more so. I feel the same way that I
This aged badly.
Trump is toast.
Kind of like a glass of milk in the Texas sun,
in a way
bro.
that I've never seen
Yeah.
in my life.
Be tied on election day, as always. It will. The polls will be tied, and then he'll lose. I think she's going to win.
I think it's going to be a blowout, actually. I don't think it's going to be a close race.
That one was just crazy.
You know, all right. You know, with all the effort out here people are spending to go viral, every single one of these people that did this were thinking about the purple-haired chick sitting on the White House on the monument steps.
Yeah.
The most memes lefty in history.
I will burn this whole place to the ground. You voted for a racist, a rapist, a dictator. You voted for a bully, a bigot, and a narcissist. Who the fuck is voting for him?
What we did not have is white women who voted.
Over half, more than half, voted for him. So,
Of white women?
pretty much most demographics.
Oh, got you.
That's the only way to win. There may be a few exceptions mixed in there. I mean, I don't know exactly how the female Chinese immigrant population voted,
Right.
but
No, I got you.
half.
Voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump, uneducated white women. That kind of extreme, sort of extremist, right-wing, fascist type government. He may not.
Rights tomorrow. What's happening?
We might have what?
I worry about my children.
Bitch, they're taking your rights now. What are you talking about?
Has less rights than I have.
Authoritarian.
What rights?
Just like regular rights, like our, you know what I mean?
Oh, you mean just
Our-
normal cops, like just everybody? Yeah. No, okay.
Yeah.
You were fixing to have a conversation, and I didn't.
No.
think
Yeah. I mean, I did a show on that whole freaking, what was it, S8 or I don't know, that whole movement. Yeah.
4B or not
4B there. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
2B, 4B. Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't want
Your
to hear
mama.
about how shitty your life gets under his policies.
Regulate social media.
How fucking dare you?
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're gonna give Kamala Harris's presidential.
You were talking shit on the other freaking AI voice, and you
This
got
isn't an
one?
AI voice. This is a person.
Well, this I don't like it. Go ahead.
Let it tingle.
Protecting a roadkill skunk. Her campaign was like a spaceship with no fuel. It looked good on the launch pad, but it wasn't going anywhere. It was like the political equivalent of a rogue planet. No sun to guide it, no path to follow, just drifting aimlessly in the political void like a turd in a zero-gravity toilet.
Like a turd.
All right, let's crack this sucker open and dive into the autopsy. First of all, let's talk.
All right, the Biden connection. So the primary issue I think that at least some, if not most Americans had with the way Kamala's campaign went, because just right out of the box, the fact that she didn't throw her hat in the ring at the DNC until like the very last second, when suddenly Biden pulled out, they didn't have a nominee. Here, Kamala, you take the reins. And I don't see that winning under any circumstances, regardless of how you try to pull it off. So I think it was lost before it was started. The Biden connection.
Talk about the Biden connection. Now, I understand that Harris wasn't in charge at the time, but she, if anyone, was in the perfect position to object to any policy she didn't agree with as vice president. Add to that she's basically said that she wouldn't change any actions of the Biden administration, and it becomes clear that she bears some responsibility for the Biden administration's many missteps, whether she likes it or not. It certainly rubs off on her, and it sticks to her like stink on cheese. So let's go over some of the things on during Biden.
cheese. Bacon on cheese. A little bit of Gouda. Want some sister along with that butter.
Tenure. President Biden, along with Vice President Harris, presided over some of the worst instances of government overreach in living memory, namely the way the pandemic lockdowns were handled. At the same time as liberties were being curtailed and normal people were subsisting for months on a paltry handout of a few $1,000s, millions of dollars were handed out like candy.
Pendar, welcome in.
BP loans,
Hey, Pendar.
most of which were later forgiven. People who were suspicious of Big Pharma were treated like criminals and were mercilessly vilified by both the Biden administration itself and the media. People lost their livelihoods and Democrats basically spat on them. In fact, polls showed that half of Democrats supported putting the unvaccinated in camps.
Don't let that sit there. Who are they interviewing? Who's answering these questions? I don't want none of y'all in camps. I've read about the camps, all the camps, even the Japanese camps we did in World War II. They weren't great, bro. I mean, most of those people went there voluntarily because the government was like, "Hey, you know, you're of Japanese descent. It's kind of weird. We're at war with the people." And they were like, "Yeah, okay. We get free room and board for a while. We'll go set up. It's fine." They didn't like it, but they were asked to do it, and they did it. And a lot of those people ended up being citizens one way or another afterwards. But a whole bunch of them ran off and joined the army. So yeah, I got no hate for none of these people, but nobody wants to be in camps, FEMA or otherwise. Nobody nowhere. Not you, not me, not none of us.
And these are the guys who lecture you on fascism. Additionally, Biden's handling of the Ukraine situation certainly leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not saying the Ukraine doesn't have the right to defend itself. It certainly does. But the Biden administration has consistently failed to explain to the American people why America has to pay for this war, particularly since Ukraine is not a member of NATO. What is the point of having a military alliance if we're also going to defend countries?
As an observation, at the beginning of this particular action, there were an awful lot of Russians in Ukraine. A whole bunch. They were like a third of the population identified as ethnic Russians. So it does not look good. That's not a good look. It's not a good look is all I'm saying.
That are not in said alliance. The line should be clear. If you're not in NATO, don't expect us to defend or pay for your war. It's like not having insurance.
What up, Queen
but
Bird?
still
Welcome in.
expecting the insurance company to pay up.
Hey, Queen.
On top of that, the Biden administration also saw record inflation ravaging the economy. It was like watching your savings account shrink faster than a porn star's dignity. And of course, pattern of first denying it and then further gaslighting you by saying it is happening, but it's a good thing. Legacy media, of course, jumped on the bandwagon and started polishing Biden's wrinkled old knob like a $20 hooker. Also, the propaganda clips on social media of the FEMA relief efforts certainly didn't help the Biden administration. Using
Oh my God, are you serious? No. Bro, look, I rode through the middle of Georgia right after Helene. I mean, like, the power hadn't even come on at my house, and I left here to go get somebody that I knew was stuck with no water and no power and no way to communicate. So I drove across state. What are we doing?
Oh, someone was commenting on the tits, so I was caressing them.
Oh, those over there. Yeah, no, they're nice. I was wondering how long it would take somebody to mention it. Of course, it's Johnny Bravo.
Right?
I'm going to give him a participation trophy. Thanks for coming, bud. Come twice just for me.
to move a small log 30 feet seems like a pretty perfect illustration of government inefficiency.
I'm so pretty.
It certainly isn't the biggest point, but I thought I'd mention it. And let us not forget Biden's cabinet of circus clowns, a kleptomaniac crossdresser, power, a high-ranking military fetishist uploading pictures of himself in both military uniform and fetish gear, Senate staffers having sex in the Senate, people on the White House lawn flashing and jiggling their tits, and an obese trainee in charge of healthcare because fuck you, that's why. There are more.
Now, you might not like his voice.
But that was
How do you feel about what he has to say?
no, I like what he has to say.
Right.
More examples, but I'll stop there. And with all
Anarchy
that,
Television, welcome in.
we finally get to Kamala Harris's own campaign. One of the biggest problems with Kamala's campaign was her inability or unwillingness to connect with the working class. In the past, when the Democratic Party still cared about the working class, they had no problems with limiting immigration since it only impacts the working class. They were also for tariffs. Now, however, when Democrats have started thumbing their nose at workers and instead try to appeal only to coastal elites, mass immigration serves as a massive virtue signal to those urbanites, and it doesn't matter how much damage those policies have already caused here, or in Europe for that matter. They now only care about satisfying their donor class in the shape of George Soros and his ilk. Make no mistake about it, when they talk about how only stupid people are voting for Trump and that they shouldn't get to vote, keep in mind that what they actually mean is that poor people shouldn't get to vote.
Anarchy Television,
Another
good to see
problem
you.
with Kamala's campaign is the tendency to call everyone racists. People just don't respond well to being called names when in fact they are just trying to feed their children. When you're having problem putting food on the table, that's what matters. And being called all manner of pejoratives isn't going to make you any more likely to vote for the ones calling you those things. The same goes for the campaign calling Trump Hitler. Again. All this hyperbolic screeching about how Trump will enact a fascist dictatorship rings particularly hollow, seeing as how we've already been through a term with him. People know what to expect, and they're just unable to reconcile reality with what Democrats and the media are telling them. Seriously, how many times can you cry wolf before people stop caring? Then we get to the campaign's inability to connect with the male demographic. Instead of trying to understand what men are going through and why they're not connecting with Kamala's message, they just tried to shame men into voting for her with cries of sexism and toxic masculinity. Why they expected that tired strategy to work this time when it's been tried and failed so many times, I will never know. But it's clear that this was yet another strategy that did more harm than good. Besides, no one can shame anyone in the privacy of a voting booth. Another thing that really undermined the campaign was leaning into identity politics so much. No one cares about your identity politics. No one chooses their president based on checking a box for first Indian woman or first black woman or whatever. One thing.
It's the economy, stupid.
For me, Kamala Harris consistently failed to present what her policies were.
All right.
So
during the height of the whole election cycle, like 30 days from the election night, me and Juicy J from Juicy J's Hot Topics, we sat down and we broke apart one of Kamala's speeches. And we both ended up completely drunk and baffled. Because we did a drinking game. I don't know. I think it's on his channel. I hope it's still up. But anyway, we did a drinking game where we took a drink every time she laughed inappropriately. There were only twice when she laughed that we didn't deem it to be inappropriate. And we never made any sense out of any of it. It was the we did two clips. There was one when she did the Detroit rally and she was in front of the buses and she sang the stupid song.
Oh yeah.
And then the other one was from I think a North Carolina rally where it was supposed to be like 2 hours and she left after 20 minutes. She just came in, delivered her little word salad speech and left. Anyway.
Questions in interviews are answered either by word salad or by not answering at all. choosing instead to go off on some irrelevant tangent about how I was raised middle class, or the politics of joy, whatever the hell that means. As vice president, Harris was, of course, on the hook for the Biden administration's performance, including economic challenges, immigration issues, and public perception of the administration's accomplishments. However, while it's natural for a vice president to stand by her boss, so to speak, as a presidential candidate, she should have said what she would have done differently.
Dude, used to play a drinking game to the TV show Jericho every time a conversation takes place at gunpoint. Some episodes were just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about The Walking Dead. What was it? It didn't catch. It was Black Summer. There's a series on Netflix called Black Summer, and it did not go well for the series because there was a couple of reasons, but the reasons it didn't go well are the reasons why I liked it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of following a hero through her adventures and yada yada, this one follows 8 or 10 people in the first episode that all die. 10 or 12 in the second that all die. It goes from one survivor to the next where they meet the survivor, and then the one they've been following dies, and the camera continues with the new survivor. And it starts on the afternoon of the outbreak. And I think the name of it is Black Summer, and it's pretty freaking cool. But if you decide to do a drinking game where involving zombies, that one is going to kill you because they're everywhere. Like, it's wild. They're fast zombies too. I don't like it.
And one thing that she would have changed if she were president instead of Biden. For fuck's sake, what did she want to do with her presidency? Nobody knows. She clearly should have thrown Biden under the bus, so to speak, like every other vice president running for office. A clean break would have served her well, and I'm sure even Biden would have understood. Harris did not successfully connect with key demographic groups, particularly the working class, like I've said before, and those in swing states. Her campaign's focus on attacking Trump's character rather than presenting a robust, appealing platform or addressing voter concerns directly was a serious misstep. She didn't really have an actual political campaign. She wasn't campaigning for anything, only against something.
Exactly. I said that 100 times during the election. The problem is she's not platforming for something. She's platforming essentially for 4 more years. That's what she's saying, not actually saying it. But she is platforming specifically against Orange Man Bad. And this is not a society where we vote against people. We vote for heroes. We vote for leaders. We don't vote against people just because they're bad, naughty people. This is the same country that elected Ulysses S. Grant, madam.
Right.
Consider that. Think that shit through for a second. Homie ran the bloodiest campaign in the history of America all the way up until the end of like Desert Storm. And they elected him president. So, like, hold your balls, folks. It's rolling.
That's no way to win, and no amount of celebrity endorsements is going to change that, or feed your kids. All she had were scare tactics, insults, and platitudes. Most people would be hard-pressed to name anything Kamala Harris actually stands for. Her only selling point seems to have been, "I'm not Trump," gimmicks, and celebrities. People don't care about that. They care about inflation, crime, immigration, taxes, and so on. Furthermore, it certainly didn't help that they trotted out Liz Cheney as a supporter of Kamala. What on earth were they thinking? She is the exact type of warmongering neocon that neither side's like. It's quite baffling. It's like banging your head against a wall to cure your headache. Moreover, it was certainly a mistake for her to not go through a proper primary. Now, there's really nothing Kamala Harris could have done about that, of course. Biden is clearly to blame for that.
That wasn't her fault.
He should have stepped aside much sooner, and unfortunately for Harris, this had a huge impact on her campaign. Not having a clear mandate from the Democratic base and the merit of being the last person standing clearly hurt her credibility. Another thing that hurt Kamala was the assassination attempts on Trump. Sure, there's nothing she could have done to mitigate that either, but seeing as how momentous those events were, I figured it would be negligent to not mention them. Next, we have 3 minor points. First, Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Now, this might be a silly point.
All right. I'm not sure how much this type of stuff affected the election.
Mhm.
But the Harris campaign hugely fumbled the ball on how to react to this type of memeing, right?
Mhm.
They tried to like strike back at it and say it's a type of harassment rather than trying to lament the death of some dear pets, right?
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. That there you even have to have it explained to you why 2 fuzzy animals that got killed by the state is a problem. And then to mishandle it so horribly after understanding the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
because keep in mind, it really didn't have anything to do with her, but it got smeared on her.
Not saying Kamala bears any direct responsibility for this, but the enormous government overreach of storming a guy's house and killing his pets for no reason in a deep blue state certainly left a stain on her nonetheless. The government going full SWAT on a guy's pets doesn't exactly scream compassionate leadership, particularly happened just days before.
I want you to read what's at the top of the screen.
Voter is faced with the choice of either voting, which makes him a master of others, or what is that? Abstaining,
Abstaining.
which makes him a slave to those who do vote.
And democracy is 2 wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to put it is democracy is the method by which the majority disenfranchise the minority.
For the election. The second minor point is Kamala's husband and the mainstream media's refusal to report anything about his ex coming out and accusing him of domestic violence. Again, this isn't something that one can fault Kamala for, but it rubs off on her anyway. People still remember how the media censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which turned out to be true. And if this domestic violence story is true, then it throws her ability to be a good judge of character into question. I certainly don't know if this had any effect at all, but I'm guessing it rubbed at least a few people the wrong way. The third minor point is Kamala's old statements from previous primaries that came back to haunt her like a bad ex-boyfriend. For instance, her support for providing sex change surgeries for prisoners and letting biological males into women's prisons. Sure, she didn't actually push these ideas in this election as far as I know, but voters can and will judge a candidate on the totality of their character, including any past actions that they may have disliked. Another more important point that may have hurt her was her unwavering support for Israel. Now, this is certainly no different than Trump's position, who stands by Israel as well. But I suspect that this stance made many young voters stay at home playing video games instead of voting. Hey, Undoomed, you incredibly handsome yet humble man, I hear you say. What about the debate? Well, truth be told, I don't think it made much of a difference. Those who were convinced stayed convinced.
You want to wrestle? Yeah, that looks interesting. Hey, wow, this is getting serious. Chopped onions, celery's going bad.
Those who were unconvinced stayed unconvinced, and those who were undecided stayed undecided. Everyone knew what to expect, and that's precisely what they got. Harris simply performed as well as her campaign could have hoped for, so I don't really think it changed anyone's mind. Then we get to the biggest blunder of all. It was a catastrophic, career-ending, criminally stupid mistake for Kamala Harris to decline to go on Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast on the planet, which also happens to speak directly to men. The one group she desperately needed to convince. That's like refusing to eat because you're on a diet in the middle of a famine. Instead of podcasts and shows that no man would ever be caught dead watching. I cannot stress enough what a disastrous miscalculation this was. But who knows? Maybe her handlers were so scared of what her performance would be like that they bought. She would have just rambled incoherently and evaded questions for 3 hours and made it even worse. Maybe they were right. Anyways, I hope Democrats learn from this. Competition is good both for business and politics, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I wouldn't be surprised if their internal election autopsy concludes that they need to lean even more into identity politics, that they didn't go far enough left, that it's somehow the voters' fault, that the voters are racist.
That's the biggest problem I have with the conversations that I've been having with like hardcore left-wing Democrats, like the identity politics people, the DEI people, those people. They are not blaming themselves. They do not blame their campaign. They do not blame their choice of sponsor. They don't blame. No, you're the problem because you're a racist bigot. You refuse to do the logical thing and vote for someone you didn't agree with.
Yeah, no.
No, I've had that conversation like out loud with the cognitive dissonance sitting right in front of us, wiggling around. I'm like, it's right there. Don't you see it? I don't see anything, but it's right there, dude. Like, how can you say that sentence and this sentence in the same sentence? I don't get it.
I don't get it.
And if they just blame and villainize the voters harder, they'll change their mind. We'll see. But I'm not holding my breath.
But I'm not holding my breath.
Right? Because I mean, we've all talked to some of these people, and even you Democrats out there know that guy that you think's completely nuts, but he votes Democrat, right? We know that guy we think's pretty completely nuts, but he votes Republican. Okay.
Okay.
It's all right. Do the thing.
It's that time, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out on the Naughty Corner Tuesday. Yeah.
So I got a question for you. Are we sticking around to do some StreamYard paneling, or are we just going and I'm getting something to eat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to get something to eat too.
Yep. Going to get something to eat. I got you, boo.
She sent us to the naughty corner. I just made a joke. She sent us to the naughty corner. Wasn't even woke.
Go to the naughty corner right. Where's my shoe? Go to the naughty corner right now.
Party in the naughty corner. It's the place to be. Party in the naughty corner. She threw away the key. Party in the naughty corner. We can never leave.
Laughing at me at the same time. What are you two laughing at? Because both of you can go to the naughty corner right now. There's room for both of you now.
Again to the naughty corner. I just called Will's name. Again to the naughty corner. I am not to blame.
Larry, go to the naughty.
Go to the naughty corner. Amara screamed at me. Go to the naughty corner. Carrie laughed at me. Party in the naughty corner. It's the place to be. Party in the naughty corner. She threw away the key. Party in the naughty corner.
Go to the naughty corner right now.
All right. If you're interested, you could come over to my stream where we're going to talk about nefarious things. That's just you and me, baby. What are we going to do with our time? All right, so what's up? What are we doing? We are going to look through the other things I have on my list. Let's see. Oh yeah.
Happened about a month.
All right, check it out. I don't know if any of y'all remember this, but do you remember the monkey in the truck videos? The monkey in the trunk? Yeah, monkey in the trunk. Check this stupidity out.
Ago, I was driving my new truck home from the bingo and it just died. Now, next thing I know, I seen this bright light up in the sky. And aliens was everywhere. Now, I don't do probes, so I'm glad I bought a truck with a trunk monkey.
The Trunk Monkey. An out-of-this world idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group.
My car?
$85.
You said 75 earlier.
That was it. Now,
I just walked 5 miles.
and I hope them shoes you got on is comfortable.
Truck monkey.
That monkey can drive. That just happened.
The Trunk Monkey Auto Recovery System, only at Suburban Auto Group.
You little.
I think everyone needs a truck monkey. Don't lie. I want one. You know you want one. I'd like a truck capuchin. Oh, there's an update on my truck. Actually, I just went and got all of the ingredients to make a functional Nissan Frontier again, supposedly at Nissan Xterra. So hopefully by this weekend, I'll be back on the road again. That would be cool. But, you know, trucks, let's change the background. Since we don't got no fly chicks in here no more. Ooh. Oh, that doesn't really work. I'd have to change that. Let's go with the big scary monkey. Since we're talking about trunk monkeys.
The Trunk Monkey. The revolutionary idea you'll only find one place. Suburban Auto Group.
On my way into work, I spilled hot coffee on my lap, and I lost control of my car. No. For the most part, I'm glad.
Oh, we just chased you down and tackled him with the paddles.
The Trunk Monkey. A life-saving idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group. The Trunk Monkey Theft Retrieval System. Getting your car back is simply not enough. Another revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Department of Agriculture.
What do you think?
I love it. Ran like a champ.
Yeah. That's not even the best part. It even parks itself.
Trunk monkey.
Mm-hmm. We're still working out some of the kinks.
The Trunk Monkey Parking Assistant, a revolution.
You can bring up your avatar if you want. What up, bud?
What's up?
What's shaking on your end?
Not much, man. Yeah.
I figure I've been off the YouTube for so long. I kind of need to do some stuff. I mean, I broke my phone, so I haven't been doing shorts, and then I lost my voice, so I haven't really been doing panels or anything else for that matter.
Yeah, I seen you struggling on Jay's Hot Topic. That's the first time I met
Bruh.
him.
Yeah, no, Jay's cool, dude.
Oh yeah,
When
I
I
met him.
first met him, he was doing the whole super red pilled thing. And I don't know if I did it or if just meeting some other people over here in my community might have done it, but he's completely sort of backpedaled on that whole red pill concept. The idea, the way he was describing resources and utilization and stuff has completely fallen out of his vernacular.
Yeah, I took him to be a liberal when I first met him because he was.
I thought he was a communist. Be honest, at first.
About everything.
Well, he talks to a lot of people who are highly offended, and so that's just the language they speak, right?
Yeah, that episode you was on last time with him was about immigrant stuff and all that stuff, and it denigrated all the way down to where they went to the 14th Amendment and all that shit and tried to turn it racial. You know,
See,
he's got a lot of people.
I saw a short earlier. I saw a short earlier today. What's up, Rashu? Click up if you want to, bro. But in it, this guy remixed a black man asking what the worst race in history was, and this southern white guy who comes in and goes, "Well, sir, I'm gonna have to say it's the 1993 like Winston 500 or whatever one it was that we lost Dale Earnhardt."
Oh,
yeah. That is the worst race in history, sir. I think it's unanimously agreed.
Yeah, I'm an Earnhardt fan. I got all his paraphernalia.
My dad was a huge Earnhardt fan, and when Earnhardt died, it broke his heart. He completely stopped watching racing. It almost killed racing single-handedly, which is just impressive. It comes down to it.
Yeah, I went and seen him in Rockingham last time I seen him. He was still racing.
What was that song? What was that poem that was written? He won in Marksville. I know he won in Watkins, Marksville, and Atlanta. I'm gonna have to go dig that up. That's a while. I'm gonna have to do that.
If I'm not mistaken, he tied with Richard Petty on
7 times, baby. 7 times, yes, sir. One of the best interviews I ever saw about Dale Earnhardt wasn't even intentionally filmed. It was Richard Petty before he did an interview on national TV. They were getting B-roll and stuff, and he's just standing there bantering with the two folks that are going to interview him, with the two anchors, and he's just standing there talking. And one of the guys kind of a racing buff himself, and he's like, "So who's the most difficult competitor on the track today?" He said, "Dale Earnhardt. That black number 3 is absolutely everywhere." And he's like, "Well, do you have any plans on how to beat him?" He said, "I'm going to keep him behind me. Because if you ever get behind him, you cannot get around him." And there was some further discussion about he's not the fastest, he's not the best on the track, he's not any of that, but he is impossible to pass. You just cannot get by. You go high and he's high, you go low and he's lower. It just.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of those controversial races where he's like, "He put me into the wall." And I was like, "Well, you should have known."
No, sir. You drove into the wall trying to drive around him. There wasn't enough room between him and that wall. You should not have tried that.
They all act like it could be some gentleman in me stuff like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna let you pass me because you got a faster car." It's like, no, you got to drive around me. Like, hell yeah.
One of the most underrated racers of that time period was Davey Allison.
Oh yeah,
the mechanics they built that on that car that year, the year he died.
Yeah,
was
I got the
homie was pulling down like 202 miles an hour at Daytona.
Yeah, I got the blister pack where they got Allison's last win at Daytona. He was like first place,
anyway,
second place. I think Jeff.
We got some Truck Monkey to watch, dude. Let's watch some Truck Monkey.
Revolutionary idea from Suburban Auto.
Same car. Oh.
so good.
Go! Come on! The municipal vehicle!
Trunk monkey parking ticket protection. Another revolutionary idea from Suburban Auto.
Oh, shit.
You know what's funny? It always blows my mind when I'm on all these panels and I'm talking to all these people and I come across people who are YouTubers that are completely unfamiliar with YouTube lore itself.
That might be. But could you imagine like a trunk monkey that'd been modified to come out of a pet door on your front door?
Right. That's a totally different line from the house monkey.
Yeah, here's to my bing bong, Jehovah Witnesses.
You're selling it, dude. Sell it harder.
That would be it, man.
Fabulous. How
Ma'am?
about if we don't give us a ticket today and just a warning?
License and registration.
Okay.
Next time I get pulled over, they ask me my name. I'm gonna say, "Go, ma'am," and first name Frida. You're free to go, ma'am. Thank you. Just drive on.
That's a good one.
This monkey.
The truck monkey, a revolutionary idea.
The money didn't work, but the donut might.
Yeah, somebody done stole my idea because that's what I was going to do, right around with a dozen donuts.
I'm an asshole, right? So I got a few friends of mine from high school and middle school that are on the police department now. And anytime I end up in a place where they're there and I'm there and somebody's selling donuts, I always send them a dozen donuts and they just flip me off. When nobody else is looking, they're just like, but they take the donuts. They don't. Usually they've got kids around and stuff. And, you know, it's not as weird as it sounds. But I mean, if you're going to be a cop, you might as well have a donut.
I'm telling you, man, it's like if you offer them any other food, they're gonna outright say no. But if you give them like a Krispy Kreme, they're gonna like you're gonna see their eyebrows go up. They're thinking about it. Why hell, sure,
Dude. I probably shouldn't even have feet. I should have had diabetes twice. When I was working out of town over here, I was having to drive like an hour and a half to work every morning. But I figured out that every other morning the Krispy Kreme truck stopped at the Jet in front of my house, a convenience store that was like 50 feet away or whatever. And I figured out what time it would show up. I talked to the guy and I would be waiting and get 2 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts. And that was my breakfast for years. Just whatever kind of donuts I wanted, I'd get me a couple and then bring the rest of the box to work. Yeah.
we got a donut place down here called Brits Donuts. Make Krispy Kreme seem like trash.
We've got a place over here that's a donut place, but
it's family owned.
It's all off. It's not right. The cake donuts taste like they were made with Bisquick. So they don't taste cakey at all. You know what I mean? And the plain glazed donuts are done from a mix of the various cake donuts, and so they all kind of have this weird kind of flour flavor to them that's just not quite right. Yeah. And the glaze is a little off as well. It's almost like it's more of a praline than an actual sugar glaze. I don't know. I just did not enjoy my trip there at all.
Yeah, well, they don't put them in a fancy box or nothing. They just throw them all in a bag. So if you don't eat them while they're hot, you're going to end up with like one lump of donut.
Delicious. Threaten me with a good time, man. A lump of donuts not a bad plan for a breakfast, man. I'd sit down with a fork and I'd throw some powdered sugar across the top of it and get those diabetes sores going.
Oh man, and they all got like this is like a family
We are
run
recalling
job.
all 2004 trunk monkeys, effective immediately. Due to recent complications, all trunk monkeys are being observed for the following: unchecked aggression, attacking small children, organized crime, plus many more. If you have been a victim, think you might be, or maybe want to be a victim, you may be entitled to special buying and leasing deals. Head to
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Let's look at this list. Voyeurism, substance abuse, tax evasion, cult activity, gun running.
Maybe you want to be a victim, you may be entitled to special buying.
Espionage, halitosis, binge drinking, lurid glances, and tight, shiny pants.
And leasing deals. Head to Suburban Auto Group for further instruction and receive free Trunk Monkey gear. Licensed Trunk Monkey professionals are.
I wonder if Trunk Monkey actually made gear. I know Drunk Monkeys did. Drunk Monkeys had some awesome freaking stuff. Let's see. I gotta know. Okay, apparently you can get Trunk Monkey stickers, but that's about it. But I had to know. Because if I could get a Trunk Monkey table, that's going in my Xterra. Damn right.
Don't worry, okay, man. Now?
What are we doing?
Everything's gonna be okay, all right? Breathe with the monkey.
Pediatric edition. An innovative idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group.
Oh shit, man.
You know, sometimes it's great to be a human.
Oh my god. That a point.
All right. Unchecked aggression. Oh wow. Fucking Trunk Monkeys. I love it.
You don't like the way I drive? What you try I didn't know. You want a piece of me? Let's go out and get you some, huh? Well, you can't speed up by anybody now. You think you're better than me? Well, you think so? I don't like the way you do.
You realize a chimpanzee will rip both your arms off and beat you to death with them.
Oh yeah.
There's very little you can do about it. You can't knock. You can barely knock them out. Their cranium is extremely resistant to impact, and they're 3 times stronger than you are.
Yeah, if you piss them off, they're just gonna step off like 5 seconds, assess what you've done, and get even more pissed off.
That's right. I had a neighbor when I was a little kid, had a freaking spider monkey. And I have vague memories of this animal. And in my mind, he was a stark raven terror. What's up, midlife? Good to see you, bud. Zephyr, welcome back. And the damn thing, I distinctly remember the damn thing would steal my cereal. They'd give me a bowl of cereal. I'm talking little. I was real little, 3 or 4 years old. And they'd give me a bowl of cereal to carry around with me because, you know, I was a midget, a little crumb snatcher. And damn monkey'd steal my fucking cereal.
Yeah, man, the orangutan can like deadlift with one arm like 650 pounds.
Yeah, no, it's retarded. It's just ridiculous.
Like with which way but loose. Clyde, he could literally trash the caddy, literally.
Hit the link if you got time, midlife. I'm just trying to waste some time up here for a while. Ain't got nothing better to do. We're taking out the Trunk Monkey. You familiar with the Trunk Monkey? You need to get you one.
The Trunk Monkey, a revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Attorney General.
All right, back in the trunk. Being the best place to buy a car sometimes means taking some chances.
So all I have to do is slap your hands and I get the car for free?
They have to fill them out first.
I've never sold that many cars.
I'll take leather. That's not really what I meant. I said kill them with kindness. Here at our dealership, we have a reputation.
He's just gonna rip his arm off.
Oh man, you imagine having a proctologist with one in the trunk?
No. No.
Gloves on.
Yeah,
For being the best place to buy a car. So it's probably best he goes back in the trunk.
Suburban Auto Group, home of the Trunk
Monkey
Monkey.
has done such a great job helping our customers on the road, we decided to see what he could do at the dealership. How do we boost the sales, folks? Any ideas? Anyone?
With banana.
Is this your phone number?
The price you see is the price you pay.
I'll take that one.
Let's just hope he doesn't quit his day job.
Suburban Auto Group, home of the Trunk Monkey.
The Trunk Monkeys are unionizing, bro. What are we gonna do?
Bring some bananas.
Yeah, but it says specifically that it won't work for bananas. So
yeah.
what do we do?
Some
I
Jack
say we
Daniels?
try. I bet you monkeys love apples.
Turn it from trunk monkey to drunk monkey.
Oh, we could try moonshine. I like the way you think.
Just make sure you don't get him near no coke.
Hey, that should be my next movie to pitch, Cocaine Monkey.
Oh shit!
Right? You know, I don't live too terrible far away from that the Monkey Island and the Monkey Lab breach that took place in South Carolina.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get me a monkey.
You know it costs a lot to park here. I'm not gonna pay you any money. Well, then you're gonna pay another way. Yeah?
Oh no.
The Trunk Monkey Samurai Edition.
Samurai edition.
I see that one coming. That one got me. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So what kind of trunk monkey do you want? Yeah, it sounds racist. Might need to stop saying that.
An automotive accessory you will only find at Suburban Auto Group.
Here we are.
I still can't believe my dad let us even touch his new car.
Oh, yeah.
You see where this is going? It's not going to end well. Sir, you need to take that young lady home.
Yep. Now's when you start playing that brown chicka brown cow.
Brown chicka brown cow.
Michael comes out with a robe on.
Hey.
Damn.
He's strapped.
Damn. Bruh. It ain't even like that, yo. I will go home. You don't need that. Rack that shotgun behind me, dude. It made me flinch.
That's it. He just needs a naughty club. He don't need that. Instead of brass knuckles.
I think it came with the car. Hey.
I'm telling you, bro, I flinched when I heard that the first time. I was like, what? I just didn't expect it.
Yeah, you remember my checkered past, man. There ain't nothing like that sound on the yard.
Damn right. Like, it don't take but once.
Everybody fucking freezes for like half a second, and then it looks like
Dude,
fucking
whole pucker up, damn near cut off a freaking hemorrhoid.
Hey, you ain't never seen 500 motherfuckers run so fast.
Yeah.
Everybody headed to their dorm, any dorm. It don't matter.
It's quite the psychological effect. I mean, you know what's coming. You know what's next.
Yeah, he didn't have to say a word. You know, there was like a riot on
Right,
the yard.
slide, dude.
Like 30-some bitches fighting. Guards on the yard ain't getting no respect. They yelling, spraying mace, and they just moving around, fight from over here, fight from over here. That's how much on that tower jack that shit one time. Man, you can hear a pin drop, just like thousands of feet. Everybody
Remind me to look up the gallon of PCP skit after this.
Gallon of PCP.
Gallon of PCP skit. It's the whitest kid you know skit. It's fucking hilarious.
Wait.
The Trunk Monkey Chaperone version. An innovative idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group.
Cash only.
But all I have is a card.
I guess we'll have to duel. You win, you get the gas. You lose, I get that car.
What?
This is the one I want. The banjo. Dueling banjo.
Okay. All right. This looks way creepier.
But all I have is a card.
I guess we'll have to duel. You win, you get the gas. You lose, I get that car.
Now you have.
Doing with banjo.
Dueling edition. Only at Suburban Auto Group.
I knew he was gonna have a banjo.
Oh,
I got a
man,
banjo.
I got a cousin. Actually, I got two cousins that can do the same thing, and it's absolutely absurd, especially when they get together. Untethered Live.
Yeah,
I saw that man learn to play a banjo in about 4 hours.
I watch him every Sunday and Monday now.
I can't remember what the arrangement was, but he had a job if he could play a banjo, and homie come home with a banjo that he bought from some pawn shop somewhere on the way home from whatever job he had been doing before that. And he sat down and listened to some banjo picking on a cell phone and went to picking out on the banjo. And within a couple of hours, he not only had learned a handful of songs, but went and did the concert with these guys and got paid for it. Come home.
I believe it.
It was one of the most amazing demonstrations of musical talent I've ever witnessed with my own eyes. The other one is a cousin on the opposite side of my family. He pretty much grew up playing the piano. His mom played the piano, his dad played the piano, and it was a natural thing for him to play the piano like everybody else, as it were. But he picked up the guitar, saxophone, flute, and a couple of other instruments while in high school. In his senior year, he decided he wanted to do a solo on the 50-yard line at homecoming. And he pitched the idea, and the piece of music that was being utilized that was already scheduled for homecoming had already been chosen. And there is a solo in it, but usually they just give it to all the horns. And he wanted to do the solo, but he didn't actually have any training on the saxophone, which was what the solo was in. And so he learned to play the saxophone in about a week and a half. He learned the solo and then continued playing it in bands and stuff afterwards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, I love Jake. He's great.
Driving, I like to play it safe. That's why I never text and drive. With my Trunk Monkey, I can send hands-free texts. Send. I'm running late. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Bananas, bananas, bananas.
The Trunk Monkey texting edition. Suburban Auto Group.
You want hunky, get with the monkey. Oh, so now he's a monkey.
Problem. With our 2 months
on the wife.
pre-owned protection guarantee, our commitment to our customers doesn't end when you drive off the lot.
Oh, glad to hear it. It's been running like a dream, but lately the Trunk Monkey seems to be on the fritz.
Oh shit.
Is that a lion?
Yeah. Hold up.
That's second shift.
To be on the fritz.
pretty good one too. I guess
Lying in the trunk, it'd be a monkey.
it'd be a tiny lion. Think how small that thing would have to be to fit in an Ultima trunk.
Yeah.
It's barely big as a Maine Coon.
Yep.
Oh. I think I got it. The Trunk Monkey Pre-Owned Protection Plan. Only at Suburban Auto.
All right, let's think about the physics of how you get the wrong animal. Is there teleportation involved in this? Why are we building cars if we can build teleporters? And where are we getting all these damn monkeys anyway?
Yep, you had to keep them sedated. And hit them with a bump. Electric shock.
Yes, not surprising. Suburban Auto Group is #1 in referrals. We offer great deals and have been consistently voted the best car buying experience.
Actually, he said something about a chimpanzee.
You mean monkey?
Yeah, that's it.
Nothing about our unrivaled selection?
No, he just said you had to.
I just want the trunk monkey.
Yes, I'm well aware of his resume.
You know, CRVs come with a table in the back.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The Trunk Monkey. Just one.
All right, that's enough of the trunk monkey.
Gallon of something.
Gallon of PCP it is.
Yeah. that banjo I got, if you'd hit somebody with it, you'd kill him. It's one of those ancient ones.
Yeah. I owned a banjo for about 72 minutes.
That one was in my attic, my grandparents' attic, like all of my life. When they passed, that was one of the things I got. I'm gonna get it fixed and maybe learn it.
I was in a town in South Georgia with some friends of mine, and I come across a pawn shop where there was a banjo for sale for like $25, missing the strings, they've been missing a couple of bridges, I guess frets or whatever little things are. Anyway, I picked it up, stuck it in my bag, and we left there and went to another town that was like 2 hours away, where we're going to go to a water park that we never actually went to because we ended up playing Cruising USA all night. But anyway, and when we stopped at the water park, there was a dude in the parking lot who bought that thing for $75, like out of my bag. It was like, I used $75 for that banjo. I was like, okay. I had a banjo for like 2 hours.
Yeah, if I could just get to where I could play that one song, dueling banjos, that'd be cool. Because that is like the punchline for any freaking joke.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the whitest kids you know and the gallon of PCP.
Zach Kreger. Yeah, Trevor Moore. How you doing? Good. I haven't seen you in like 8 years since senior year at Brown. Right. Yeah. It's good to see you. Look at you. You look great. Thank you. What do you got there? This is a gallon of PCP. Wow.
All right, I want to let that soak in for a second. Now, you ever met anybody with PCP?
No.
So if you would assume that if you did, they wouldn't have a gallon of it, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of bullshit do you reckon homie's gotten into with his getting his gallon of PCP? There's got to be a backstory here, right?
Yeah, he's got to be like a manufacturer or something.
Something serious going on.
A gallon. Yes. Yeah. That's illegal, right? Yeah, it's a felony. It's a felony. Yes. Wow. And here you are with it anyway. That is wow. I didn't even know it came in liquid form. Science. Whoa. So
trust the science, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you do a lot of PCP? Got a gallon. I guess you do. Yeah. Wow. So what do you do? I work in an investment firm downtown. It's mostly like property acquisitions. Huh. That sounds successful. What do you do? I work at the Binko's. I don't know what Binko's is. It's an office supply store type thing. Secretary stuff? but a gallon.
Yeah.
Here you are with a.
Yeah, I'd be kind of hung up on that too. I'm not sure how much farther this conversation is going to go until I understand why you have a gallon of PCP, sir. I mean, I don't mean to pry, but you did bring it up.
Yep. A gallon. Wow. Man, do you still see Candace?
No. She passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. How long ago did that happen?
About 4.
About 4 years ago?
No, PM.
What?
Well, I was just thinking about that myself. I knew that's what it meant. 4.
Right? Yeah, no, like obviously there's some shady shit going on here behind the scenes, right? Thought it was a normal joint.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I have dabbled with some love boat. You know what that is?
I don't know. And I
Well,
was just like I was talking to Ajot before the show. I told her, I was like, I don't know that I've ever done crack. I've smoked a few joints that I had a very high suspicion of such things, but I don't know.
Yeah, those are called. If it's got crack in, it's called a boofy.
Whatever. I'm just saying, like I have suspects.
If it has PCP in it, it's called a love boat.
Fuck that shit, dude.
Yeah.
4 p.m. As in today, 4 p.m. It's 5 o'clock now.
Yeah.
So that was recent. What happened?
I was at my dealer's house.
Uh-huh.
I was buying the PCP.
Of course.
And I didn't have enough money for all of the gallon.
Oh, it's expensive.
But I wanted the whole gallon.
Of course.
So I'd set up a deal where I would leave her as collateral.
Uh-oh.
And then I would go hit an ATM and come right back.
I see problems.
But, when I left, I got distracted and he cut her head off.
Whoa!
So definitely some shady shyster shit going on here. But my man Gangster over here talking about it.
Yeah, he's not even perturbed.
Yeah, he's not even sweating. And he's got a gallon of PCP.
I got sidetracked.
Wow. And that happened today, just a little while ago. Man, are you okay? Are you doing all right?
No, yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty high right now. So
right, because of the PCP, which you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
He keeps hoisting that shit up.
ran into Bill the other day.
Do what?
He keeps hoisting it up. I'm expecting him to take a swig in a minute.
Reminds me of one of my uncles with a bottle of moonshine.
Yeah, my dad was a damn moonshiner, man. Bootlegger too.
Mm-hmm.
He used to drag race.
And
We only got a few more minutes, dude. Let's just let it 30 seconds. Let it go.
he's doing really good.
I don't know Bill.
You don't? That's right. No, you wouldn't know Bill. But he's doing good.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good to see. Good for Bill.
Well, it was good to see you, Trevor.
Nice seeing you.
I gotta go. I gotta pick my kids up. I'm running late.
Oh, you have kids. You are on your way to pick up children with your gallon thing.
I don't want them to lose their heads.
Oh, you left them with the guy, the PCP guy.
No, they're at soccer practice. I'm late. They spaz.
Oh, it was a joke. I get it. Well,
good to see you.
Nice seeing you.
Okay.
I'll tell Bill you said hi.
I don't know him.
Oh, that's right. You don't. See you later.
Oh, Lord. I love these guys.
Is that the same one that does the fuck you thing?
Probably. I mean, like,
They do some funny shit. They yell at each other across the way. Fuck you. No, fuck you.
Oh, no. I don't remember who that is. That's a different comedy group.
That is hilarious shit. I've seen a couple different versions of that. And then I've seen them do one where dude's beating off beside another guy at the stoplight and shit. That was hilarious.
You want to watch climb a hill? Sci-fi Western short film. Let's see.
Have you seen The Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
I have.
Oh, that's hilarious.
A lot of people gave it smoke because, and I quote, it didn't make no sense. But
duh, it was just hilarious. I love that movie.
Well, it wasn't so much that it was hilarious. It actually has a few decent points, you know.
Yeah, it's got some
Specifically,
bad shit in it. Like when that woman offs herself, that was rough. One boy would come back half scalped.
yeah, like what's the name of the fucking one? I don't remember. It's like third or fourth one. It's the two guys that are in the carriage, and they get in the carriage and they're going somewhere, and they basically just kind of tell this story. Is it fucking weird?
Oh, it's a weird ass movie, no doubt.
All right. Are you familiar with Samuel Whitmore?
No.
All right.
Not by name.
Ah, yes, the official state hero of.
All right. So Samuel Whitmore is probably the most gangster old man in history, and the fat electrician is going to tell us all about it. Right. Samuel Whitmore is basically the oldest gangster, because he's like pre-Revolutionary War gangster, right? Anyway, that electrician does an excellent job breaking this guy down. He does that real well. He also does the Last War Chief is what the title of the video.
What's his name again?
The fat electrician. Yeah.
Fat electrician.
Yeah. I'm not being an asshole. That's the name of his channel. Like, it's in chat. It's this guy's channel. He does a lot of this type of stuff, which is pretty cool.
Ah, yes, the official state hero of Massachusetts. Today we're talking about Samuel Whitmore, quite possibly America's first anti-hero and the most gangster old man of all time. But first, a word from our sponsor, because this video is brought to you by Operation Good Boy.
I ain't got nothing against you, bro. We're going to skip your sponsor.
He goes dark again. There's off. Let's get back to the video. All right, Samuel Whitmore. We don't know much, but here's what we do know. He was born in Charlestown, Massachusetts in 1696. From there, he goes dark. We don't hear from him until 1721 when he gets married to his wife, Elizabeth Spring. Then he
What's
goes
up, Ohio,
again.
Steve?
There's
I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, bud.
Record until
Chilling.
1744. At the age of 48 years old, he would fight in King George's War. And during that war, he held the rank of captain, leading an entire platoon of dragoons.
All right, so this is an American-ish kind of person who serves in the English army and attains the rank of captain without lordship or sponsorship. Think that shit through for a second.
He's a badass.
During the siege of
Right.
Harrisburg. If you don't know,
Fucking
dragoon is
exactly.
just a fancy word for cavalry, so think of like Malfoy's dad from The Patriot. Same thing. So that's cool, whatever. But here's the important part that nobody else ever brings up. Like I said, he's a captain, which is a way bigger deal than most people make it out to be. And here's why. There's really only two ways that you can become an officer in the British military at this point in time. Way number one, you were born into a wealthy British aristocratic family and daddy's got a lot of money. That's like 95% of the British officers at this point in time. Or way number two, and way less likely, you are a complete badass doing gangster shit on the regular and they absolutely need you to lead some men. Given the fact that Samuel's just some random colonial,
Literally verbatim, right? Some gangster ass shit on the regular. So he goes into a little bit of this gangster ass shit in a little bit, and it just like I want to see him make a Netflix series about this guy desperately. They could even like trans him or something. I don't care.
Have you seen that series, Taboo?
narrows down which category.
Taboo.
Yeah,
I tried to watch it. I tried to watch that back.
That dude was gangster.
I could never get into it, dude. Like Peaky Blinders, I couldn't get into it either.
Yeah, I ain't watched that one yet. I watched clips and shit. It's pretty good.
The what was the other one that I tried? Sopranos. I tried real hard to watch The Sopranos and I couldn't watch it. Ironically, I could watch The Penguin, which is basically The Sopranos in Gotham. So, so make of that what you will.
Yeah, I was like religious on the Sopranos.
So he and his men help lay siege to Fort Lewisburg. That goes well. They take over the fort. From there, the war is over. So he heads back home to what is now Arlington, Massachusetts. From there, he goes back to doing seemingly the only other thing he's good at, because I'm not kidding you, this guy does two things his entire life. He plows stuff and he fights wars. When he's not fighting wars, he's back at home plowing his fields and plowing his wife, because this dude has 10 kids. I'm not kidding you. There's only 2 things on the
I love the way this dude breaks it down.
Plow some stuff, bud.
Yeah.
That kind of dude.
He doesn't just plow, he does so successfully.
Plow some stuff.
Historical record that even proved that this man existed for the next 10 years. One is the sheer amount of birth certificates where he is listed as the father. I mean, the mother is always his wife. He's not cheating on his wife. It's just they're having a bunch of kids. And second, and my most favorite detail of this entire story, when he came back from war, he had a very, very decorative, ornate, almost gaudy French officer's sword covered in gold and rhinestones and jewels and all kinds of shit. And it became his prized possession that he would show off to all of his buddies in town. And when they would ask him where on earth he got that, the only thing he would say is, and I quote, "The previous owner died suddenly."
Suddenly. Suddenly. Yeah, he doesn't need it no more. King George's War, huh? I want to do a little bit of deep dive into some King George's War. If I'm not mistaken, there are 2 events that went on from King George's War that went on to be considered as part of like Geneva Conventions, or 2 times that things happened that would later be war crimes.
Yep.
It is now 1754, and Attila the Whitmore over here is approximately 58 years old, and the French and Indian War breaks out. Now, does Sam have to go fight this war? Absolutely not. He is a 58-year-old man in the 1700s when the life expectancy is 60. He should be keeling over any minute now, but he also has 10 kids, so he's literally like, honey, I gotta go beat up the French again. Okay, bye.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, basically. There it is.
If you don't know, the French and Indian War is basically the Kingdom of France versus the British Empire, and both sides are backed by different Native American tribes. This is supposedly the war that Mel Gibson's character fought in The Patriot, and presumably where he got his cool tomahawk from. Now, I know what you're thinking. Did Sam Whitmore get a cool tomahawk too? No, he didn't. But what he did get was 2 matching dueling pistols that were super cool. And you're never going to believe this, but the previous owner died suddenly. Okay, look, it's not stealing if they don't exist anymore. That's just the rules, I guess. So Sam and his men beat up on the French yet again. He acquires some fancy dueling pistols, and he heads back home. Okay, fast forward again.
9 years. So we've got 20 years down already.
Sam Whitmore is 67 years old, and the Pontiac Rebellion breaks out. Surely he's going to sit this one out, right? Absolutely not. He grabs his French sword, he grabs his double dueling pistols, his musket, and he heads off to war yet again. So he goes, he fights in that war for a little bit, comes back home, at which point he decides that he's going to get involved in politics. So somewhere along the line, he starts rolling around in the political circles. He finds himself at a fancy dinner party, and there's this guy there that's running for House of Representatives, and his name is John Vassell, and he represents everything that Sam hates. Sam is a small town farmer that's his wife, and this guy is like the big, powerful merchant out of Boston, the big city, running the ports, making all this money. He wants to get into office to make laws more beneficial to him so he can be rich, and Sam is just trying to get by. So
I want a movie.
Dinner party, Sam, who's not scared of anybody,
limited
informs
series.
him, hey, by the way, you're no better suited for office than the horse I rode in on. By the way, my horse's name is Nero. He's parked out front, and he's not worth 5 pounds, which I'm not an expert in translating old-timey colonial speak, but it sounds like he's saying you're not worth a horse's ass. Go fuck yourself. At which point, John Vassell gets very upset and decides that he is going to sue Sam for public defamation for the price of...
Right. Like, homie wasn't just in the trenches. He was also in the State House. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the good part yet. It gets better.
1,000 pounds, which is a shit ton of money back then. So the entire town finds out about this lawsuit, and they all show up to court to actually watch the trial, because Sam represents that grizzled old man that's just saying what's on everybody's mind, but nobody else has the balls to say. And he goes in and basically turns this entire trial into the roast of John Vassell, ends up winning. Sam doesn't get sued, at which point he slaps him with a counter lawsuit on the spot and ends up countersuing him for $200 and wins. So that kind of launches Sam's political career. Fast forward again. It is now 1765, and the British
He's
Empire has been fighting
71.
France for quite a while, and it's getting expensive. They need to make more money, and the best thing they can come up with is a Stamp Act. Basically, they're going to charge the colonials a tax on every single printed piece of paper that they come up with. This is like the modern day equivalent of if every time you made a phone call, sent a text, or visited a website, you had to pay a tax for it. And people are absolutely outraged, and Sam is infuriated. I mean, from his point of view, he's been fighting the French for the British Empire, and now he's going to have to pay an extra tax just for doing it. He is so mad that he ends up becoming a hardcore revolutionary. But he's also like a 70-year-old man.
Every time I try to make more money, IRS just come and take that from me.
And so he's mostly just serving on committees, being like, hey, maybe America should be its own country. We shouldn't pay so much in taxes, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward again.
All right. This man is pushing 78, 79, right? He's 80. 80.
It is now 1773. Samuel Whitmore is a 75-year-old man, and the British government has just rolled out their new and improved strategy for making even more money, the Tea Act. Yeah, they're going to start taxing the importation of tea, which will go down in history as one of the greatest ideas of all time. Now, at this point, Sam is serving on a committee representing his hometown of Cambridge, which would later become known as Arlington. And that committee sends a response to the British government in regards to the Tea Act that basically says, fine, if you're going to charge us more money, we're just not going to buy your tea because, and I quote, if we fail to assert our rights, we will dwindle into supineness. Now, like I said earlier, not an expert in translating old-timey colonial talk, but it sounds like Sam and his committee just told the British government that we're not going to buy your metric leaf water because we're not going to let you guys fuck us. That's why. At this point, pretty much everybody in America is pissed off. They start smuggling tea to avoid taxes. The Boston Tea Party happens December 1773. From there, people just start stockpiling guns and...
You know, the Boston Tea Party was one of the biggest false flags ever committed by America, and it happened before America was America. What's up, North Alabama Cryptid? How you doing, bud? Appreciate you coming through. Think about it. There's a bunch of natives, a bunch of Americans dressed up as natives and tossed a bunch of, you know, because they didn't want to get arrested. Yeah. They tried to blame the freaking the Native Americans, and
yeah, I think that's
it never worked. Nobody bought that shit. Nobody bought that shit.
Yeah,
gunpowder and supplies, getting ready for war if one should break out. Now, fast forward April 1775, General Thomas Gage is appointed the military governor of Massachusetts, and he will be residing in Boston, which has been turned into a British military stronghold. At that point, General Gage decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to get proactive. I'm going to stomp out this whole rebellion talk right here and right now. I'm going to take 700 men, an entire regiment, and I'm going to march them out to Lexington and Concord. While they're in Lexington, they're going to arrest those stupid, annoying revolutionaries, John Hancock and Samuel Adams, and then they're going to continue marching to Concord, where they're going to burn down all the stocked up military supplies. So the British military starts making preparations for a huge movement, at which point revolutionary spies find out and they decide to let everybody know. And when I say they decide to let everybody know, I mean a silversmith from Boston by the name of Paul Revere is going to take off at midnight, ride through the entire countryside, going house to house, telling everybody that the British are coming. And guess whose house is between Boston and Lexington? Sam motherfucking Whitmore. That's who. I'm not shitting you. It is like 99% sure that Paul Revere showed up at 78-year-old Samuel Whitmore's house sometime in the middle of the night and was like, hey, just letting you know, the British are coming. At which point he's like, get off my lawn. Then presumably
Oh, shit. I remember that. That's
I love this dude. When he does the story of the last war chief, he it's brilliant. It's really well done. It's brilliant.
Else, and Samuel goes back to bed. That morning, April 19th, 1775, the British are marching and they're almost to Lexington, and they are cut off by 77 Minutemen led by a man by the name of John Parker. John Parker orders the Minutemen to, quote, stand your ground, don't fire unless fired upon, but if they mean to have war, let it begin here. So the British roll up with 700 trained professional soldiers and tell these 77 Minutemen, literally farmers that just picked up whatever guns they had around, and told them, disperse, you rebel scum. At which point the Minutemen are like, nah, we're good. We're going to stay right here. and so are you. And that's exactly what happens. They just stand there staring at each other from across this field, with the British officer not knowing what to do because he has to get to Concord to get rid of these supplies because those were his orders, but he also doesn't want to open fire on these guys because that will mean the start of the Revolutionary War. So they just stood there, seemingly forever, in formation, ready to throw down, waiting for the other guy to make the first move. And suddenly, from the American side, a gun goes off. Nobody knows who fired, nobody knows why, but this was the shot heard around the world that would start the American Revolution. And for all we know, it could have been some old farmer that just dropped his gun.
Mordor.
And there, all hell breaks loose. Both sides fire on each other. 8 American Minutemen are killed, and the British advance towards Concord. The surviving Minutemen take off to go tell everybody that the Revolutionary War has officially begun, as the British spend the next 4 hours searching through Concord, gathering all the military supplies and lighting them on fire. Everybody in the surrounding area sees all the smoke from the burning supplies, and they think that the British military is burning down the entire town of Concord. Because of that, 2,000 Minutemen show up to fight back, at which point the British are like, oh shit, and they start retreating. They run across a bridge and start ripping the planks off of it as they go, at which point the 2,000 Minutemen and 700 British soldiers fire upon one another from either side of this bridge as the British continue to retreat. The British now have to march 18 miles back to their military stronghold in Boston in their stupid high-vis red coats, and every single American with a gun between there and Boston is taking pop shots at them from the wood line. During this retreat, 26 redcoats go missing, 100
go missing.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Where did we put our soldiers?
I bet they took them damn coat off. Oh, shit.
75 are wounded and 73 are killed, and 3 of them at least are from Samuel Whitmore. So we cut back to Samuel Whitmore. He's 78 years old, chilling at home, presumably plowing something. What? We don't really know. And he just hears gunfire going off in the background, and it's getting closer and closer. And then he remembers, oh, that fucking kid woke me up last night in midnight and told me the British were coming. Maybe that's what's going on. So he goes, he grabs his fancy French officer's sword, both of his dueling pistols, and his musket, and he goes out to the main road that the British would be marching past. And he's going to stand by the stone wall next to the main road and just wait for the fight to come to him like the complete badass that he is. At this point, all the younger Minutemen are running up to...
Crap, man. A rifle, 2 pistols, and a sword? Shit.
Right? He's liable to hold that bridge for an hour and a half. Where are they gonna go?
Check on this old man like, hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be out here. And if you are going to try to do this kind of stuff, at least go out in the wood line or in like a 2nd-story window to hide yourself like the rest of us so you don't get yourself killed. To which Samuel Whitmore responds, and I quote, if I can only be the instrument for killing one of my country's foes, I shall die in peace, which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck. At this point, this man is literally the living embodiment of old man strength. He's just that old, grizzled, veteran Viking that's got one more fight left in him and wants to die in battle so he can go to Valhalla. So he stays there, he loads his musket, he loads his pistols, and he waits, and he waits, and finally the British come marching right down the road, dead at him. As they get close, he crouches down behind the stone wall with his musket and waits until they get to point blank range, and that's when he pops up over the wall, aims his gun,
I said, get off my lawn now.
and fires, immediately killing one redcoat on the spot, drawing both of his pistols, killing 2 more redcoats, drawing his sword, and charging into over 500 soldiers on his own. He is then immediately...
I cannot find another reference of a body count for a soldier over the age of 75.
That is amazing.
Right?
I would have followed that dude into hell.
Right? With a razor blade. Damn right.
Shot in the face. He falls to the ground and is somehow still alive, so he reaches to grab one of his guns and start reloading it, at which point the British run up and stab him with bayonets somewhere between 6 and 13 times. Apparently, after the first 5, they all kind of blend together. He is then clubbed in the head with the butt of a rifle and left for dead, as his body lays there mangled and lifeless. as the British continue to march through the town on their way to Boston. 4 hours later, the townspeople notice that his corpse starts moving. So they pick Samuel up, they get him over to the doctor, they alert the family shows up to the doctor, at which point the local town doctor...
All right, keep in mind, this man had 10 kids 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, he's got a squad.
How many you reckon showed up?
I bet you they
How
all
many were armed? By damn near dying, this man completely reinforced a full segment of the American militia because his family showed up armed for war. They killed Grandpa. Oh shit, no.
Yeah, Grandpa come back.
Yeah, no, check this out. It's awesome.
Is like, the dude is 78 years old. He wasn't prepared to handle a fall down the stairs, let alone getting stabbed 13 times and shot in the head. Okay, like there's no way this old man's gonna make it. But like I said, his family members start showing up, and guess how many direct descendants Samuel Whitmore has at this point in time after all that? Go ahead, give it a guess. Say it in your head. Okay, you got your number? Okay, he's got 185 living descendants. Okay, he's got
150 off.
He's got kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, great-grandkids squared.
Homie reinforced that entire wing.
He's got a fucking battalion.
He does. Homie's loaded for bear by himself. I bet they're all just as goddamn mean as he is.
They fucked around and found out. That's where that saying came from. We finally know where the original is.
Damn right.
185 people showing up to the doctor like, hey, save Grandpa. At this point, poor Dr. Tufts is like, dude's gonna die, but I'm not about to tell 180 grandkids that, so I'll try my best. So he does what he can. He bandages him up and sends him home with his family, and they take care of him for the remainder of his days. And when I say the remainder of his days, what I mean is, let me check my notes real quick. I mean that he passed on February 3rd, 1793. This motherfucker lived for 18 more years and passed away at the age of 96. And to commemorate Samuel Whitmore, there's actually a monument where he made his last stand. You said that he was 78 during his last stand and 96 when he died, and that clearly says that he was 98 when he died and 80 during his last stand. Why are you so dumb? Okay, look, I understand your point, and I also can kind of sort of read, and I realize the irony because this is literally written in stone, and I'm telling you that it's wrong, but it is wrong. That is the only source that says that he was 98 when he died and 80 during his last stand. Every other source says that he was 78.
But didn't we do the math out loud on our way through and come to the conclusion that he was 79 plus, given the math that he gave the 10 years, 2 years, and the 10 years? I don't know. I feel like he lost a couple of years in there somewhere.
Hey, I'm like, whatever age that old motherfucker wanted to be, that's how old he fucking was.
Right? What he write on his paper? Let me ask you that. You tell me how old he signed things, and then we'll go with that number.
Yeah, that's a fucking American hero there.
Absolutely, man. An absolute hardcore boss man.
He was either fighting or plowing.
Right. Do we care about AI translating the language of where? No, we're going to do this one. All right. You might remember this story. So back a while back, there was a dude who tied a whole bunch of balloons to a lawn chair and went on a flight. You remember that?
I seen that on fucking King of the Hill. Wasn't it fucking Dale Gribble?
It actually happened in reality. Like the King of the Hill episode was based on an actual event.
Damn it, Dale.
Stop it, dude.
Damn it, Peggy.
For most of us mere mortals, the idea of going for a balloon flight probably conjures up images like these. A colourful hot air balloon floating serenely over the African Serengeti, while a basket full of tourists snap away on their cameras and phones to...
That looks like a fucking nightmare. Oh my God. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. If somebody bought me tickets and I showed up and that was what I was getting into, with like 500 freaking people, I would stay back and drink at the freaking resort or wherever the hell we're at.
Yeah, we would be like, if that's the last one out of a burning town, I would be a burning ass.
Maybe I might get in that motherfucker if the place was on fire.
Yeah.
Like I would consider it, but beyond that, no, I'll hang here, bro. I'm
Yeah,
good.
maybe a small plane, maybe a helicopter, but I ain't getting in nothing.
I'll take my chances in the river.
Capture the moment for posterity. Hot air ballooning probably wouldn't rank very highly on someone's list of dangerous activities, and for good reason. It's pretty safe most of the time. Accidents do happen, and they can be pretty bloody awful when they do. But that, I think, is a topic for in today.
Do it.
That's what I'd be picturing right there. I was at the house one day when I was about like 14, and I didn't know what the hell it was, but I kept hearing. And here it comes like 15 or 20 of them some bitches across the house. I was like, what the hell? Sounds like a damn dragon or something flying around up there.
I've seen one. Well, out there where I grew up is on the flight path from one of the airports, right? Both Warner Robins and Atlanta is one of the wide paths. But anyway, there was this single freaking hot air balloon out there floating in the sky one afternoon. It was way the fuck up yonder.
Oh, these were in rock throwing distance. They was like getting ready to crash or something. It's like one of the big hot air balloon festivals type shit. It's near Greensboro.
Yeah. Do that shit.
In today's video, we're going to be having a look at another kind of ballooning, a kind of ballooning called cluster ballooning. And if you've ever seen that Pixar movie Up, then you've seen cluster ballooning. All right, most people don't try and fly a house underneath a bunch of balloons, but the principle is the same. Inflate a huge amount of balloons with helium, tie them together, strap something underneath, climb on, cross your fingers, cut the tether, and go for a ride. Now, for professionals, this, I'm sure, can be much more complicated than what I've just described. Street magician and showman David Blaine performed some record-breaking cluster ballooning in 2020, a feat which no doubt involved a huge team of people and probably months of preparation. Blaine apparently performed over 500 skydives and got his hot air balloon pilot certificate as part of his preparation for the stunt. And on the day, Blaine took with him bottled oxygen, a GPS, an ADS transponder, thermal clothing, and the balloons were equipped with remotely detonated squibs to safely control his ascent. Of course, the whole time, Blaine was being filmed and monitored by his team. Exciting stuff, don't get.
That's wild. But could you imagine just doing it on a Tuesday?
Yeah,
Like,
I could picture all kinds of like scientific shit that could go wrong. It's like if you overinflate the balloons and you get up at altitude where.
well, once you get up to altitude, they're going to pop regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna pop at high altitude if they're
You
over.
may asphyxiate before you get there. But this is just wild that somebody had the audacity. If I understand it right, he took a BB gun with him to pop the balloons to come down.
Yeah, I could picture like a Gallon and PCP kid doing this shit.
You're wrong. I can't help feeling that Blaine was probably well within his comfort zone during the entire time. On the other hand, launching out of your backyard while sitting in a regular garden chair and equipped with not much more than some sandwiches, 2 litres of Coca-Cola, a walkie-talkie and an air pistol is probably the kind of thing that very definitely is going to get you out of your comfort zone. But who'd be mad enough to try something like that? Well, meet Larry Walters, or as he's more commonly known, Lawn Chair Larry. Born in Los Angeles in 1949, Larry Walters had always wanted to fly. He recalled that as early as age 13, he'd already been struck by the idea of DIY ballooning after seeing an inflated weather balloon outside an army surplus store. His high school science project, Balloons and Hydrogen, only gained him a grade D, but that didn't matter. The urge to get up into the sky was already firmly planted in Larry's mind. To fast-track his desired career as a pilot, he signed up for the army and he served as a cook in Vietnam. But in a bitter blow, his poor eyesight excluded him from ever having any chance of flying. Returning from Vietnam, Larry got work as a truck driver, but the urge to get up into the sky wasn't diminishing. It was constantly there in the back of his mind. In 1972, he met Carol Van Dusen, who became his long-term girlfriend. And right off the bat, he confided to her about his dream of flight. But it wouldn't become a reality until 10 years later when Larry, in his own words, had a revelation. It's now or never.
You don't reckon there might have been something in his personal life that triggered this, do you?
I don't know, but he looked like he got on the Top Gun shades.
Wow, yeah, he's peak 80s dude.
Yeah.
Carol, having repeatedly heard about this plan over the last 10 years, told him, just do it. Just get it out of your system. So, at Carol's insistence, Larry bought a parachute for $900 and made one practice jump to make sure that at least he knew the basics of how to operate it. He then got hold of the weather balloons, 42 of them, and the helium needed to fill them.
Wow.
For his gondola, he would be using a regular garden chair.
Dude, that's
not one to skimp on quality.
That's the big problem I have with this myself.
Yeah, man,
Right.
those shows suck, man.
Like, what happens if it flips over? What if you tie something wrong?
It's made
What
out
if-
of nylon and plastic and aluminum.
Aluminum. Really thin aluminum, bro.
I can chew through aluminum, and I only got 5 teeth. Shit.
No.
He bought a $109 webbing and aluminium frame model from Sears and Roebuck, which he christened Inspiration 1. Other essentials procured for the flight included 8 one-gallon water bottles for ballast, a compass, an altimeter, a walkie-talkie, a map of California, a torch, and an air pistol. The pistol was to be used to control the altitude of Inspiration 1. Larry would basically just shoot and pop some of the balloons if he needed to descend. On the evening of July the 1st, 1982, in the small yard behind Carol's house in San Pedro, Larry, Carol, and a couple of friends began filling the balloons with helium and tethering them together. As the balloons were filled, they naturally began to draw attention, as it's not an everyday sight to see a giant tower of 7-foot diameter balloons rising up from a small suburban backyard. In fact, 2 sheriff's deputies arrived at the house to ask what was going on. Larry managed to an ad campaign that he was running.
Hey, Bubba, what the hell?
Sir, step away from the lawn chair. Stop resisting.
That'd be an early launch.
Oh, God. How do you talk your way? It's just an ad campaign.
Oh, man.
No, sir.
They left apparently satisfied with this explanation, and the flight was still on. By the next morning, the balloons were filled and Inspiration 1 was loaded up and ready to go. The plan, as Larry envisaged it, was to ascend initially to about 100 feet whilst still tethered to the bumper of a friend's car, which was parked in the yard. Initial plan. Rise up to around 8,000 feet, and the onshore winds would carry him over South LA towards the desert, where he could then pop some balloons and gently land.
Right.
Needless to say, that's not what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Once Larry was comfortably seated, the main tether was released, and Inspiration 1 shot straight up, rising at an estimated rate of around 13 feet per second. In just a few moments, the balloon chair had reached the end of the final tether and snapped it instantly. Larry was jerked forwards and almost fell out of the chair. His glasses flew off and fell to the ground.
He's got a
Once
blanket.
free of the tether, Larry and Inspiration 1 went up and up and up.
What's up,
His
YouTube police?
long-awaited
Welcome in,
dream
bud.
of flight had finally become a reality. Back on terra firma, as Carol watched Larry disappearing into the blue yonder, she frantically pleaded with him over the walkie-talkie to cut some of the balloons and land. But Larry was having none of it. No way in heck, after all this, my life, the money we'd sunk into this thing, and just come down, no way in heck. I
Yes,
was
sir,
gonna
bud.
have a good time up there. And so Larry, reclining comfortably in his Sears garden chair, continued to climb ever upwards. The higher I went, the more I could see, and it was awesome. Sitting in this little chair, I could see the orange funnels of the Queen Mary. I could see that big seaplane, the oil tanks of the naval station like little dots. I could look up the coast like forever. At one point, I caught sight of a little private plane below me. I could hear the buzz of its propeller. It was the only sound. But not everything was going to plan. Larry was being carried slowly inland, but he was now so high that he was entering one of the approach corridors to Los Angeles International Airport.
Oh, shit.
Drifting along at 16,000 feet,
Yep.
Larry's balloon chair contraption was now being spotted by
I can see a
commercial
pilot with fired. What do you mean you see a guy floating on some balloons?
No, dude, that's not even the strangest thing that's happened in LA. LA had the jetpack man. Jetpack man, you don't remember that one? I covered it a couple of months ago. Basically, for about 2 years, there were random reports of jetpack man flying around near LAX. And it was so common for pilots coming in to report seeing them that they started trying to figure out who jetpack man was. Thank you, man. Much love. Nobody ever came forward. And if a jetpack that effective existed, you would expect at least some notation to be made of it other than pilots at LAX going, hey, look at the jetpack man.
That'd be crazy.
It's crazy.
3-1, who radioed LAX air traffic control to advise of a man in a chair attached to balloons in our 10 o'clock position, range 5 miles. Can you imagine what the air traffic controller on duty who received that call must have thought? Meanwhile, Larry, feeling a little less
Please repeat.
now in his Sears garden.
Sir, please repeat. Come back.
I'd be like, put your pilot on.
Yeah, I'm talking to the one that's not drinking. Chuck, are you taking mushrooms again?
Have y'all lost cabin pressure?
He knew that he was way too high, and he was
Right?
nowhere near the desert as planned. He'd been afraid to use the pellet gun, fearing that by bursting some of the balloons he would unbalance the chair, but by now he was rapidly running out of options. His feet were completely numb with cold, and he was having trouble breathing in the thin air. If he kept going up, he would soon pass out, and he knew that the weather balloons were capable of ascending up to 50,000 feet. By then, he would be very, very cold and probably very, very dead. So, Larry shot out 7 of the balloons, then paused to check his altitude. But as he was doing so, a sudden gust of wind caused the chair to lurch violently, and the pistol slipped from Larry's lap.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
I can still see it falling, getting smaller and smaller, down towards those houses, 3 miles down. And I thought, I really hope there's no one standing down there. Larry now had no method of controlling his altitude, and it seemed as if he would have to jump and trust that he remembered how to use the parachute correctly. But some of the balloons were, in fact, leaking, and he realized...
Do it.
15,000 feet.
Right?
Yeah, he should have been passed out.
He got oxygen. He brought oxygen with him.
Realized that Inspiration 1 seemed to have leveled off at around 16,500 feet. Slowly, Larry began to descend. At 13,000 feet, he was back in radio contact, this time with the emergency services who were grilling him on what the hell was going on.
Can you imagine that conversation? Let's go.
1633 West 7th Street, San Pedro. Say again the name of the airport. Please repeat that. This is an unauthorized balloon launch. I know I'm interfering with general airspace. I'm sure my ground crew has alerted the proper authorities, but could you just call them and tell them I'm okay? As Larry continued to descend, he began to hear everyday sounds again. Car horns, radios playing, and people's voices. At around 2,000 feet, Inspiration 1...
All right, I got it. I'll check it out.
More quickly. And Larry took out his penknife and slashed open all the water bottles to empty the ballast. Still dropping, Larry clung on to the sides of the garden chair. It looked like he was going to land on somebody's rooftop, but still in urban Los Angeles, there were power lines all around. Larry eventually touched down at East 44th Way in Long Beach, scraping over the roof of a suburban house and becoming entangled in some power lines which the police had just managed to turn off in time.
Lucky
The owner of
break.
the house, who happened to be a retired airline pilot, and some neighborhood kids helped Larry down from Inspiration 1. There on the street, he happily signed autographs for bemused onlookers and even gave the firemen some of the balloons which they tied to their fire truck as they drove away. But they couldn't.
He got there like a clown passing out balloons. Oh, shit. That is hilarious.
I have a puppy. You want to see it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Come here, little monster. This thing bites absolutely everything. Like, it bites it twice for the funsies, apparently. Right? I'm doggy.
We rescued one, and she turned out to be pregnant, and she had 10 of them.
That's sort of kind of how this went. My kid bought a puppy and then got evicted from his house, and you can't have a puppy at the place he's living now. So,
yeah, my Duke died last year. Mom said we can't get no more.
Absolutely not. I did not want this one, but here we are.
I want one so
Finding
bad.
anything to charge him with, so they had to let him go. The actual chair ended up in the hands of a local lad named Jerry Fleck, after Larry, on the spur of the moment, gave it to him as a present.
I wonder if
The
that chair
FAA,
gives him.
of course, wanted.
I wonder if that chair gives him PTSD when he sees them. That'd be terrifying, right? Especially at first when it snapped that rope. That first 30 minutes. Ooh.
To come down hard on Larry, but he had no pilot's license to lose, and surprise, surprise, a lawn chair requires no certificate of airworthiness, so they couldn't fine him for that either. In the end, he was charged with violating airspace and fined $1,500.
Oh, that sucks.
Larry's stunt unintentionally brought him
Something-
nationwide fame.
Something you can take to the bank. If it's punishable by a fine, it's legal for a price. If you're willing to pay that fine, have at.
Yeah, but that dude had more balls than shit. Half the people I've known to life. 'Cause he did it. How about get her done?
Right? I mean, you got to give him a B for balls.
He appeared on The Tonight Show and Late Night with David Letterman, becoming known by his new nickname, Lawn Chair Larry. He quit his job as a lorry driver and briefly toured the US as a motivational speaker. But eventually the fame subsided and Larry Walters went back to a normal life. For him, his flight had been a one-off, a thing he felt compelled to do regardless of the outcome. But once it was done, it was done. He had no desire to repeat it.
Basically,
It was something I had to do. I had this dream for 20 years, and if I hadn't done it,
once you get up about 20,000 feet and look down, you don't really have the urge to do that anymore, apparently. Especially in a lawn chair. I think that's the moral of the story. What do you reckon?
I wouldn't have made it to 100 feet. I'd have started popping balloons.
Yeah, no. When it snapped that damn cable, I'd have popped 3 right there. And we'd had to give it a second and find out what happened. And I might pop 3 more right after that. I don't know. I've done better math, I think. I might have had a better calculator or something. I don't know.
Yeah, things fall at 32 feet per second. So
Not on a balloon, they don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's some messed up math in there. But the rate of acceleration applies. So like I said, once you start falling, it's going to speed up. You know, you're going to slowly get faster and faster.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like you're not trying to pop enough balloons to come down to fall. You're trying to pop enough balloons to basically become neutrally buoyant and slowly drift down.
Yeah, the altimeter is the right idea he had. And
yeah, that's that. No, the oxygen, dude. He was packing altimeter, oxygen, and a radio that was on the AA.
He definitely wasn't brightest being in the bunch He should have had that gun tied to it.
Yeah, he had a fucking quilt tied to the side of that thing. He should have had his gun tied in.
And a bow and arrow as a backup.
The crossbow? I don't know, man. What happens is you stick somebody in the head with one of those things when you drop it, or when it goes through the balloon and misses, or whatever.
Yeah, that would have been the liability of dropping anything from that height.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Chances are rare. I mean, but is it a chance you want to take? Is that a chance that a normal rational person would take? I don't think so. I think we left rational on the ground.
Oh yeah, he definitely left rational. I think he left that in Vietnam.
Right, point there, bro. I thought about that.
That's a wild story there.
I have a couple of other videos, but they're stupid fucking long. I'm not doing it.
Did you ever see the one I told Flo State about the hand job cabin?
Let me end this and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I gotta know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the second half of our show, and I'm out. Deuces. Don't let the man get you down. It's just one of those days. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna go eat some stuff, but I want you to know you shouldn't be a victim.
Wow. But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces.
My guns.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
Wow.
Bang! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Okay.
Bang! Try to shoot them in the back. But I don't run so good either. Anyway, you guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility. I don't think one would have done it. I'm going to go out and buy some more.
Okay.
And I think